This is ChestertonRadio.com.
And here's the cinnamon bell.
Let's see what's happened to Judy and Jimmy and their friends, the Cinnamon Bear and the Crazy Quilt Dragon. After they got Patio Cinnamon out of the wishing well, they tried to get out of the wishing woods, but they were stopped by a great river of mud and attacked by muddlers, huge, ugly creatures made entirely of mud. In spite of everything our friends could do, the muddlers shoved them into the black, oozy mud. They climbed frantically onto Crazy Quilt's back, and he tried to swim, but couldn't. And right now, they're sinking deeper and deeper and deeper.
Oh, agony. Mud to the left of us, mud to the right of us. Oh, I'm afraid it's all over with us.
Gee, if we weren't on Crazy Quilt's back, the mud would be way over our heads.
Try a little mudding through to the other side, Crazy Quilt. If we stay here much longer, we're sunk.
Please, Crazy Quilt, try again, please.
Oh, it's no use. Every time I move a leg, I sink in deeper.
Jimmy, hold the handkerchief with the silver star pieces high over your head.
All right, Judy, but I don't see what good it'll do now.
Can't hold on much longer. I'm going.
We're sunk. We're sunk.
Wait, somebody's coming.
Can you see who it is, Jimmy? I got mud in my eyes.
Why, it looks like Cowboys. Hooray, we're saved.
Yo-ho, Cowboys. Over this way, over here.
Take it easy, strangers. We're coming. All right, boys, throw 'em some ropes. I'll take the children. You lasso the bear, Lefty.
Right,
and Hank, you and Gus better snag that dragon or whatever it is. You got 'em, boys?
You bet.
Okay, hang on tight, strangers. Here you go.
Out there.
Oh, boy, am I glad to be out of that mess.
How's that dragon critter coming along?
Right now. Words cannot begin to express my gratitude.
Well, you Cowboys just got here in the nick of time, all right. Just like in the movies.
We don't know our noble rescuers' names.
Well, Slim's my name, partner. Slim Pickens.
Mr. Slim Pickens, I thank you in behalf of our little party. I shall speak to the proper authorities about a medal. Oh, yes, indeed. And I shall... Oh, tragedy. Look at me. I'm smeared with mud from my Crazy Quilt head to my Crazy Quilt tail.
Me too. My beautiful fur is ruined.
Well, don't worry, strangers. Won't be a minute before that's gone.
What do you mean?
Oh, my goodness. All that mud's dropped right off.
Gee, the Crazy Quilt Dragon looks like he'd just been dry cleaned.
Why, for pity's sakes, what's this?
It's magic. That's what it is.
That's right, partner. Soon as you step on this side, the mud just vamooses.
Oh, my goodness. Such a relief. Why, look, everybody. How beautiful it is here. All purple. It didn't look like there was anything like this when we were over on the other side.
Yes, miss. This here's the purple plain. You can't see it from t'other side the mud pond, 'cause those muddler varmints don't like purty colors at all. And they just naturally likes to hide it from everybody. Well, those pesky mavericks are the orneriest bunch of creation. I guess they had it in for your dragon partner here in account he's such a fancy-dressed hombre.
Look, Judy, they're all riding big black beetles instead of horses. Say, are you Riddler Cowboy Slim?
Well, Sonny, I reckon we are.
A little bit different, but still cowboys.
That's right, Lefty. Oh, hi, Glowworm Gus.
Yo.
Start up a song. Let them know who we are, huh? Come on,
You've read about cowboys of every description. You've read about in
uphill. Yippee-yi-oh-hey, when we're all in the saddle, there's nothing so handsome, a poor chorus rattle. Yippee-yi-oh-hey, with a Cocklebur cowboy, stand up in your stirrups and take a big bow, boys. Each evening at sundown we round up the glowworms who light up the streets and the houses at night. The glowworms eat sunflower seeds in the daytime, which makes them especially brilliant and bright. Yippee-yi-oh-hey, get along, little glowworm. You'll try to get going and not be such slow ones. Yippee-yi-oh-hey, shake a leg now and get up, or the little toy town will never get lit up.
Gee, are these your own glowworms?
No, Sonny.
We keep 'em for Melissa.
Melissa. Do you know Melissa?
Well, we sure do, don't we, boys? Who's the prettiest little boss in this neck of the woods? Melissa!
I heartily concur with your opinion regarding our beloved ruler.
What does he mean, Patty Cinnamon?
He thinks so, too.
Well, we sure would like to see Melissa again.
Well, what's your trouble, little miss?
We went to see her about getting our beautiful silver star fixed, and she told us what to do.
To wish it back together again at a wishing well.
But our fuzzy friend here unfortunately spoiled our plans by falling into the wishing well, so they had to use up the wish to get him out.
And if we could see Melissa again, we thought maybe she'd tell us something else to do.
Yes, we just got to get our silver star fixed.
'Cause it belongs on top of our Christmas tree, and it just won't be Christmas without it.
Well, now, I'm sure sorry to hear about all the trouble you folks has had. But maybe you won't have to go all the way back to see Melissa.
What do you mean, my friend?
Well, now, I'll just show you. Hey, Lefty, you got your looking glass with you?
Nope, Slim. Left it in the bunkhouse.
Oh, shucks. No wonder we call you Lefty. Always leaving things behind when they're needed.
I've got a little looking glass.
You have? Well, that's right nice. Now, if you'll just let me have it a bit, it'll show you a trick. Now, first, I take my hat.
I bet he's just like that Mr. Presto the magician.
Well, don't know the party you mentioned, but here's the idea. Now, if you put this looking glass inside my 10-gallon hat, pretty soon you can see Melissa and talk to her.
Oh, that's wonderful, Mr. Slim.
You better do the talking, Judy.
All right. Here's the looking glass.
All
Mr.
right,
Slim.
now put it down here in my 10-gallon hat. That's it. Now, you just think real hard that you want to see Melissa.
I'm thinking ever so hard. I see her. I see her in the looking glass. Oh, Melissa, we've had such a time. She doesn't answer me.
Well, you can't hear her say anything, little miss, but she can hear you. Now, you go along and tell her your trouble.
All right. Melissa, dear, we did just what you told us and went to the wishing well. But poor Patty Cinnamon fell in when he was looking down inside it. And we had to use up the only wish we could have to get him out. So we couldn't wish our star back together again. Would you please tell us what we can do now to get it mended? She's smiling.
She heard you all right, little miss.
Oh, she's writing something on a piece of paper. Now she's holding it up for me to see. Underneath the singing tree, another clue you're sure to see. Oh, now she's gone.
I wonder what she's talking about. Underneath the singing tree. It's just like a treasure hunt. You go one place to find out another place to go.
Well, Melissa knows what she's talking about, so you better do as she says.
What is the singing tree? Do you know, Mr. Slim?
Well, it seems to me I have.
I've heard tell about it. Supposed to be in the Golden Grove.
Where's that?
Well, that's straight across the Purple Plain.
If you look real hard, you can see it glistening over yonder, way over.
I see it, a regular
So
sparkle.
do I, distinctly.
Well, we're mighty sorry we can't take you clear across the Purple Plain, but we got a job to do, you know. I got to round up them glowworms.
Well,
thanks,
fine.
Sure, nice of you.
All right. Well, come on, boys. I got to get moving.
That's fine with you.
Well, so long, partners, and I hope you get your star right pronto. All right, boys, let's ride.
Yippee. Look at them ride. What a sight. My. They may be a bit wild and woolish, but I like them. Definitely.
So do I. I don't know what would have happened to us if they hadn't turned up.
Well, come on. We've got a long way to go. Let's get started.
Yes, let's not waste any time.
I wonder how we'll know the singing tree.
Oh, you'll know all right. Melissa wouldn't tell you unless you were sure you'd find out.
I suppose you're right. What was that?
Jiminy crickets, look! Over there behind that bunch of purple cactus.
Wow, it's an Indian.
Run for your lives. The whole tribe will be after us.
Faster, faster!
How many are there, Jimmy?
I don't know. Sounds like 100 of them.
Oh, my cinnamon scalp, help! Help!
Indians, that's bad, very bad. In Mavyland, you never can tell what will happen next, but Indians it is. And next time we'll find out just what will happen to Judy and Jimmy and their friends.
For almost 2 centuries, Americans have enjoyed the valuable privileges of freedom. Now, freedom needs each American to dedicate himself to its preservation. We must not allow our liberties to be endangered by neglect of our duties as citizens. During this year of rededication, join with your fellow Americans in reaffirming the principles on which this country is founded and the safeguarding of those principles. Make it your business to see that federal, state, and local governments are conducted honestly. Help to maintain the good morale of your sons and daughters in the armed forces. Learn the facts about all candidates and issues. Then vote for the one you believe in. Make the most of every minute on your job. Produce as much as you can, and thus increase our military and economic strength. Work for better schools and a better community. Guard your American heritage of freedom. It needs you.
This is Chesterton Radio, the true, good, and beautiful at chestertonradio.com.
Vicks presents the Matinee Theater, starring Victor Jory. Vicks, the makers of Vicks Vapor Rub, Vicks Vatronol, Vicks Cough Drops, and Vicks Inhaler, brings you the Matinee Theater, starring Victor Jory in a most unusual Christmas play, A Stable in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. First, here's a good thing to remember when you catch a cold. The best-known remedy for relieving miseries of colds is Vicks Vapor Rub.
Ladies and gentlemen, today from the stage of the Matinee Theater, Vicks invites you to enjoy a modern miracle play. A different kind of Christmas story with a special meaning for all of us. A Stable in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. It's Christmas Eve, and behind the window of an exclusive Fifth Avenue club, 2 elderly men look out on the world with jaundiced eyes. In the sumptuous lounge of the club, there are only these 2 tonight, trying to conceal their loneliness at this festive time with bickering and cynicism.
Oh, these chimes. I suppose we'll have to listen to those chimes all evening, Gordon.
Yes, Christmas. The commercialism and hypocrisy of the whole thing turns my stomach, Townsend.
Oh, that's something we agree on.
It's all so obvious. Think of all those millions of people out there wrapping presents. Why? Only because they feel obligated, or they're trying to bribe somebody.
Take you all these years to learn that?
And these Christmas cards. Nothing but assembly line sentiment. People buy a card, put it in an envelope, stick a stamp on it, and send it off saying, there, thank the Lord, he's taken care of. Christmas cards are a system whereby people remember to forget you. Greetings of the season.
Yes. And when they get through sweeping out the tinsel and adding up their bills, they'll be back at each other's throats again.
Look at these hollyhoods in the window. That Christmas tree with all its baubles. By George, I'm going to complain to the board of directors about this. Just needless expense. But I suppose I won't get anywhere. They're the prize collection of nitwits, our board of directors.
No. Wait a minute, Gordon. Wait a minute. I resent that. I happen to be a member of that board.
I apologize. I should have said they're all nitwits but one.
Well, thank you.
And that one's a fool.
Huh? Now, look here, Gordon.
All right. You know, Townsend, I'll make you a wager.
What's that?
I'll bet not 1 in 50 people down there in the street knows the story of Christmas, of Bethlehem, the shepherd.
Oh, they know the story, all right. The strange thing about it is that they believe it.
You're right. The miracle of Bethlehem is a myth.
Are you sure of that, sir?
Huh? What's that?
Who are you?
You're new here, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Oh, I see. A substitute, eh? I suppose because some of the staff are home trimming their Christmas trees, celebrating. We don't matter, of course. We just pay our dues.
I'm here to serve you, gentlemen.
And probably getting time and a half because it's Christmas Eve. Well, we want 2 hot toddies. That's the only real thing about Christmas, the club's toddies.
Yes, sir.
And hot means hot, not lukewarm.
Wait. Tell me something.
Yes, sir?
What did you mean just a moment ago when you said to me, are you sure of that?
Well, sir, you said the story of Christmas, of Bethlehem, and the shepherds was a myth.
Yes, I said that. What about it?
I'm sorry, sir. I must disagree with you.
What do you mean by that?
Well, sir, you see, the story of Christmas is true. I know that for a fact. It happened again only a year ago.
Oh, stop talking in circles, man. Explain yourself. Just what are you driving at?
The eternal story of Christmas, sir. It happened to real people. I heard about it from someone I know.
Heard about it? From whom?
Well, let's say he was a friend. He drove a truck carrying freight from here to Pittsburgh. 2 or 3 of them traveled together, as you might say, in caravans.
An ingenious beginning. Caravans of trucks, is it? Like camels in biblical days, eh?
You might say so.
All right. Go on with your story.
It was last Christmas Eve, just a year ago tonight, gentlemen. This friend of mine, his name is Michael, was driving through Jersey on the way to Pittsburgh, and this night he was alone on the road. The other drivers were home with their families. As he passed through towns along the way, he saw the houses and churches lighted up, and his heart was heavy with loneliness. Suddenly, snow began to fall so thickly that he could hardly see anything ahead of him. Mike drove along slowly, feeling his way. And all at once, the figure of a man loomed up in the flood of his headlights, stood there, motionless in the middle of the road. Mike had to slam on his brakes so that he wouldn't run over him.
Hey, now, for the love of Mike, man, what do you mean stand in the road like that? You could have got yourself rolled flatter than a pancake. Are you crazy?
I'm sorry, mister, but I had to stop you.
Yeah? A soldier, huh? Well, what's the idea? What do you want?
Are you heading west?
Sure, that's my general direction. Why?
Well, could you give us a lift? Just a little way even into some town, maybe?
Us?
Yeah, me and my wife.
You're right. What are you talking about, soldier?
I left her back at a big sign over there while I tried to stop you.
Back of the sign? Hey, what in...
Look, it kind of protects it from the wind. We've got to get into some town quick, mister.
Yes, you said that before. But what are you two doing out on a night like this?
Well, you see, we're in a little tourist camp down the road, and there was no chance of getting a doctor there, so we thought we could pick up a ride. Look, mister, my wife's going to have a baby.
Well, for the love of... Why didn't you say so in the first place? What do you use your brains for, anyway, fella?
Well, I...
Yes, well, don't you know they've got to be kept warm? Now go and get her.
Oh, thanks. I'll only be a minute. Mary,
it's okay. You run up against on the road. A fine thing. Me, a delivery boy for the store. I must have seen that sign 100 times. Golden Rule Department Store. Our slogan is, do unto others as you'd have others do unto you.
Well, they couldn't have picked a better sign. Look, Bud. Hurry up.
Oh, we're ready, mister.
Okay. Get in. Gosh, lady, you look half frozen.
I am kind of cold.
Well, when I shut the door, the engine will warm you up. Now, don't be afraid of crowding me. The seat's plenty wide for the feet. All set?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We'll find some place in the road and stop for some hot coffee. That'll thaw you out, ma'am.
I don't know what we would have done if you hadn't stopped for Joe.
It's going to be all right now, Mary, honey. He understands.
Well, I wouldn't say that, Joe. Me being a bachelor. But like my mother used to put it, bless her soul, babies manage somehow to make their way into the world.
Yeah. How far is it to the next town? Can we go a little faster?
No, Bud, you can't make time in the snow.
Oh, don't worry, Joe. I'm all right, honest I am.
Where are you bound for, son?
St. Louis.
St. Louis. Boy, you've got a long way to go.
Yeah. But, you see, that's where Mary was born.
I see.
Her folks still live there. She wanted to be there when we had our baby.
Oh.
There isn't much time left on my furlough, but I thought maybe we could make it. At least I'd know I was leaving her in good hands.
Oh, everything will be fine, Joe. You'll see. Just keep your arm around me. Hold me closer.
Say, there's a blanket in back there. Put it around her, Joe.
Oh, thanks.
Boy, oh boy, this is a funny Christmas Eve for me to be spending Mike Riley with a family on his hands. But don't think you're going to get away without paying me for the trip, folks.
Oh, paying you?
Sure. If the little one happens to be a boy, ma'am, you can pay me by making one of his names Michael.
Oh, I think that could be arranged.
Well, we're all of one mind then, are we? Fine. And back home, I've got the christening present all ready for the child. The self-same crib in which I was nursed and my father before me. Come all the way from Ireland, it did.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. Joe was going to make a crib all by himself.
Oh?
You see, he was a carpenter before he went in the Army. The best carpenter you ever saw.
No, honey, I wasn't that good.
Never try to argue with a woman, Joe. What about that crib I'm going to give you? Now that's something for a baby to stretch himself in, with plenty of rooms to kick his legs in the air. Hand-carved it is. All of it. And right at the head are two angels. The little fella can't open his eyes without seeing them. And this fine crib with all the trimmings is yours, ma'am.
Oh, we'd feel very proud to have you as a godfather, Mike.
Thank you.
You don't mind if I call you Mike?
Mike it is, ma'am. The only time I get Michael is when I see it on my pay envelope.
Yeah, I'm always Joe. Last man to call me Joseph was the minister who married us. Remember, honey?
Yes, he was so nice.
He said, Joseph, do you take this woman? And Mary, do you take this man? Gee, my knees were so wobbly I could hardly stand.
Yeah, I remember how funny you look.
What's your son?
Oh, what's the matter, honey?
Oh, nothing. I just feel a little sick.
Mike, we've got to get her to a doctor.
Oh.
What can we do?
Well, we're going as fast as we can. If we're going any faster, we'll end up in the ditch. We're going to do our best, soldier. And that's about all we can do.
Well, what's the rest of your story? Why did you stop?
I just thought you might want your hot toddies, sir.
Well, never mind the toddies. You go on.
Yes, go on. Joseph, the carpenter, and his wife, Mary. I must admit the first part of your story has a very ingenious parallel. But where do we go from here?
Well, the storm got worse and worse. And the truck staggered on through the blizzard. It was a night that never seemed to end. Joe and Mary held on to each other desperately, like two frightened children. Mike was groping for words to help them. It wasn't easy. Come out of it, you two, now, will you? Come out of it now. No matter what happens, you have each other. Think of me riding up and down this road day in and day out. You don't know what it means not to have someone you can put your arms around and love.
Oh, I know, Mike, but Mary's hardly more than a kid. And we had so little time together. Why, we haven't even got
You don't know what you've got, son. You don't know what you've got compared to lots of other people.
He's right, Joe. So right. Please, listen to him.
Now, you take a fella like me, Mary. I go along the road passing by houses with all their lights shining out at me and the kids laughing and dogs barking and people safe inside their houses. And it gives me an emptiness in my stomach. Because, you see, me and my truck, we could disappear into the darkness of the night and no one would care one way or the other. You know what I mean? We come into this world lonesome, and it's a wonderful thing when you can find someone to share it with you and fill all that emptiness.
Oh, what are you slowing down for, Mike? You stopping?
Yeah, and not because we want to.
What is it, Mike?
I'm afraid the radiator's frozen up.
Gosh, it stopped.
You're telling me.
Mike, we got to think of something. Mary's feeling awful bad.
And now keep your shirt on, son.
We can't stay here in the middle of the road.
No, we can't. Here, Joe, take this flashlight. Open the door.
All right.
What does that sign say on the other side of the road there? There. Can you see?
Yeah.
There?
1 mile to Bethlehem.
1 mile to Bethlehem. Why, I know where we are. You're going to be okay, Mary, okay.
A mile. Might as well be 1,000 miles right now.
Not as bad as that, Joe. There's an old guy lives down the road a little way. Just much of a place. It used to be a livery stable. And when horses went out of style, the old bird stuck a couple of gas pumps out in front.
Yeah, but do you think he'll help us out?
Sure, he'll help us. I buy gas from him, I do all the while. He's one of those Pennsylvania Dutchmen. Folks call him Papa Bauer. Come on, Mary. Put your arms around my neck and I'll carry you.
I'm sorry to be so much trouble, Mike.
Trouble? Think nothing of it, kid. Take the flashlight, Joe.
Yeah, all right.
You're just a little wee bit of a girl, Mary. I can hardly feel you in my arms.
You feel all right, honey?
Of course. I know we're safe now, dear.
The snow's getting deeper. Better stay here in the middle of the road, Mike.
We'll be there in a minute.
Let me hold your hand, Joe.
Sure, honey, sure.
I'm scared. I'm scared, Joe.
Hold on to her hand tight, Joe. That's what she wants more than anything else.
I'm all right. I've got to be all right.
Gotta hurry, Mike. Where is this place? I can't see anything but snow.
We'll get there, Joe. We've just got to keep going, too. Keep going. It's not far now. Well, look, there it is.
Where?
There. I knew it was around here. Take Mary, Joe. Let's see if I can wake up the old man. Come on, Bauer, open up the door.
I suppose he isn't home.
He's got to be home. Bauer, wake up.
Who is this? What you want?
Open your howl. Open the door. You're Mike Riley. Come on downstairs. Make it snappy.
Mike Riley?
Yeah, and I got trouble on my hands. I've got to use your telephone. I need some hot water for my truck. It's froze up down the road.
I'll be right down, Mike. Just a chance give me to get in my pants.
Okay. We'll be inside in a minute, Mary. How are you feeling?
Oh, fine, Mike. If you could only make Joe believe it.
Don't be about him. He believes it, don't you, Joe?
Huh? Oh, yeah, sure.
You've got to forgive him, Mary. He can't help acting like a father.
Yeah, that's right, honey. That's all. Mary. Mike has fainted. Mary!
Well, they waited a few minutes. Joe and Mike and Mary. Minutes that seemed like hours. Papa Bauer finally came down and let them in. And there they were, Mary and Joseph and Mike Riley, in a stable near Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
That's pretty good. Mary and Joseph and Mike Riley. Yeah, but what about the shepherds and the wise men?
Oh, they came. And there was a star, too.
Oh, come now.
Would you like me to finish, Jim?
By all means. I wouldn't miss this for the world.
No, Nerai, go on.
Well, Mike and Papa Bauer started calling up doctors for Mary. But it was Christmas Eve. It didn't seem any of them were at home. They must have tried about 20 doctors, going right down the list. But all they got were maids who said they'd try and find Dr. So-and-so and tell him about it. They were getting desperate. Mary and Joe were upstairs in Papa Bauer's room. And they all knew Mary's baby would be born. This one's out, too.
My.
What do you have to do to get a doctor around here, anyway?
Well, Mike, it's, Christmas Eve.
Yeah, well, look, you keep on the phone, Bauer. I'm going upstairs. Let me know if you have any luck.
I keep Mike down.
How is she, Joe?
Oh, I don't know. Did you get a doctor?
The old man's still on the phone.
You mean you can't find a doctor? Oh, Mike, it's not fair. You can't expect her to have a baby in a stable with no one to help her.
Don't worry, Joe. Please, darling.
Don't worry. It's all right to say, but we're only kidding ourselves.
Now, wait a minute, kid. Don't make it any worse for her.
May I have some water?
Sure, Mary, all the water you want.
Here you are.
Thank you, dear.
Now, you just sit down, Joe. No, right here on the bed. Listen, Joe. You said something about a woman having a baby all by herself in a stable. Well, I'm not exactly a religious guy, but I can remember my grandfather telling me a story I never forgot.
Oh, Mike, this is no time for stories.
It's always time for this story, Joe. I can still see the old boy's gentle smile as he told it to me. It went something like this. The birth of young Jesus, he'd say, was a miraculous thing. It happened in those days that Joseph came to Bethlehem with his wife Mary, who was great with child. There was no room at the inn for them, nor accommodations. But there in a stable, she brought forth her firstborn child, a son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes. And because she didn't have a crib, she put him in a manger. Now, in that part of the country, near Bethlehem, in the Holy Land, there were some shepherds keeping watch over their flocks by night. And what do you suppose happened? An angel of the Lord came down to them. The glory of the Lord shone all around them. They were pretty scared, these shepherds. But the angel said to them, you don't have to be afraid. I'm bringing you tidings of great joy, which shall belong to all people. Right now, in the city of Bethlehem, a child is born. He's the Savior of all men, and you'll find him lying in a manger. And suddenly, with the angel was a heavenly host praising God and saying, Glory be to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men.
It's beautiful, Mike.
I only wish I could have told it to you like my grandfather did.
Mike, come and sit down.
Well, I guess maybe Bauer caught up with the doctor.
Oh, I hope so.
I'll be right back. What is it, Bauer? Did you find the doctor?
No, but listen.
Listen?
Do you hear?
Do I? Now, wait a minute. That's police sirens.
I wonder what is the trouble yet.
I don't know. Hey, they're coming here.
Is he coming?
Maybe now we can get some help. Don't you see? Maybe they can round up a doc or take Mary to a hospital.
All right, you guys. Come on. Stick 'em up.
It's okay, Chief. I got him covered.
Hey, what goes on here? Are you coppers nuts or something?
Yeah, what do you want?
You'll find out.
Keep reaching for the ceiling.
Now, wait a minute, you guys, and keep quiet, will you? There's somebody upstairs who needs a doctor and needs him back.
We know all about it. We brought a doctor along.
Did you hear that, Mike?
Yeah.
All right, Dr. Henshaw. I'll keep these two guys covered. You upstairs. You too, Wilson. And be careful. They may be desperate.
Okay, come on, Doc.
Say, Chief, what's the big idea?
You phoned for a doctor, didn't you?
Sure, but we didn't hope for this kind of service.
I am a quiet, law-abiding man. Everybody knows Papa Bow.
Never mind. Stand up against the wall, you two. What's your name?
Mike Riley.
I suppose you don't know anything about the stick-up at the country club tonight.
Stick-up? Oh, listen, Chief, I'm a truck driver on my way to Pittsburgh.
Now I'll tell one.
Well, it's true. My truck's parked just up the road with a frozen radiator.
Hey, Swenson, go see if there's a truck around here.
Yeah, Chief.
What I can't understand is who sent you here.
Yeah, all we did was phone for a doctor.
And that's where you made your mistake.
Huh?
One of the doctors you phoned was Dr. Henshaw, the one upstairs. He's a member of the Bethlehem Vigilance Committee.
The which?
You heard me. A group of professional businessmen who make it a point to suppress crime.
And what's the criminal about what's happening here?
Quiet. 3 members of the committee were at the country club when you pulled up that stick-up. Dr. Henshaw, Lawyer Marshy, and Mr. Davis, who owns the Golden Rule department store. And Dr. Henshaw's maid phoned and said there was a rush call out here. They put 2 and 2 together and called me at headquarters.
Well, I'm afraid they're going to be surprised.
Oh, yeah? We'll see who's surprised. The job was pulled by a mob of 4. The 4th guy was a little slow on the getaway. As he was leaving, he saw a pendant that Mrs. Henshaw was wearing and stopped to rip it off.
By the time he got to the door, the steward had a chance to get the gun out of his desk, and he winked this fourth guy in the leg. So naturally, he'd be needing a doctor.
And so these three wise guys think they can pin it on us. Chief, you may not know it, but you've seen a miracle happen tonight.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No?
We'll find out.
It's okay now, Chief.
What's okay, Wilson?
We got here just in time.
Where's the doc?
Oh, he's upstairs. And you ought to see the little rascal who caused all this commotion.
This ought to be good, Bauer.
Yeah.
I don't see what's so funny.
You should have seen him, Chief. Sweet as a lamb.
Huh? Didn't he make any fuss?
Not a single yip out of him.
Did he pull any rough stuff?
Only grabbed hold of my finger.
Wilson, you've been drinking. Now pull yourself together. Listen carefully. What did he say? Will he talk?
Well, in a year, maybe. You can't expect too much.
Wilson, what are you talking about?
The baby, of course.
Did you say a baby?
That's what he said. I heard him.
Well, full of flat-footed.
Now, Chief, watch your language. There's a child in the house.
I was going to kiss him, but Dr. Henshaw said I might give him germs.
Did you hear that, Bauer? It's a him.
Yeah, is it not wonderful and in my stable already?
Listen. Will you be listening to him now? With a pair of lungs like those, there's no telling what he'll make of himself in the world. And now, Chief, if you put that gun down, I'll be on my way upstairs.
Why, I think I'll go with you.
Oh, sure, and why not now? And you know, once the little darling sets his eyes on my beaming countenance, he'll be nothing but smiles. And while I'm at it, Chief, I'm going to ask him what he was doing at the country club tonight. You know, he's much too young to be doing gallivanting. So you see, gentlemen, there was Mary, Joseph, and the baby in that stable in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. There were the doctor, the lawyer, and the merchant, three very wise and good men. And though they'd made quite a mistake, the police were there, too. Shepherds of the law, you might call them. In many ways, it was like the story of that other Bethlehem. And as I said before, there was even a star.
A star?
Oh, yes. Remember I said the policeman was trailing a stolen pendant?
Yes.
Well, that pendant was a star sapphire. And that's what the wise men and the shepherds were looking for when they arrived at Papa Bauer's stable.
Well, star sapphire. Think of that.
And did these wise men of yours bring gifts?
Yes, sir. The merchant, Mr. Davis, brought clothes for the baby from his store, dressed him fine and warm. And the doctor gave Mary and Joe a big Christmas dinner, brought it all the way out to Papa Bauer's. Mike was there and half the police force.
What about the lawyer?
Oh, he did his part. He made all the arrangements for Mary and the baby to go to her folks in St. Louis, in real style.
What do you think of that?
What do I think of it? I think it's one of the most heartwarming stories I ever heard. I think it calls for a drink.
Right, and you must join us, waiter. What do you say to some hot Christmas toddies?
You're very kind, sir, but I must ask you to excuse me.
Nonsense. Your story has turned what promised to be a long, dreary evening into a most enjoyable one. An evening I shall never forget. Hey, Gordon?
I should say so. This is the first Christmas Eve in years that I haven't felt,
Lonely is the word you're looking for, Gordon.
Yes, that's it. Lonely.
If I may say so, gentlemen, there's never any need for loneliness. And especially at Christmas time. There's a cure for loneliness, and it's very simple. All you have to do is to find someone who is poor and unhappy, and bring them the warmth of charity and understanding. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to attend to my duty.
You know, Townsend, there's something strange about that fellow.
Yes, but I did enjoy his story.
Townsend, maybe there's more to Christmas than we thought. Possibly we've built a shell around us, a shell through which the good things, the kind things can't get through.
Yes, and it took a waiter to show it to us.
Well, Townsend, I wonder what that fellow's doing about those toddies. I'd better ring.
Now, why do you suppose he wouldn't have a Christmas toddy with us?
Oh, I don't know. Probably he's...
Gentlemen, did you ring?
Oh, it's you, Tom.
Oh, yes, Mr. Gordon. Naturally.
Oh, I thought you were off tonight, Tom.
Oh, no, sir. Not on Christmas Eve.
Well, then why did you have that other man wait on us?
Other man? What other man?
Why, the man who just left us. The man we've been talking to.
I'm afraid I don't understand, sir. My station is just outside the door. Aside from you two gentlemen, I've seen no one enter or leave this room.
What?
That's right, sir. And I can assure you that we have no extra waiters on tonight.
No extra waiters?
Wait, Gordon. All right, Tom. Please bring us 3 hot toddies.
Did you say 3, sir?
Yes, Tom. 3. 1 for Mr. Gordon, 1 for me, and 1 for the, shall we say, the spirit of Christmas.
This is Victor Jory, friends. I do hope you've enjoyed our Christmas play. And you know this Christmas is unusual because Americans will observe Christmas this year in many, many parts of the world in many different ways. Yes, in many different ways. As one small voice in the never-to-be-stilled spirit of Christmas, I want to express you the deep and sincere holiday wishes of all of us who bring you Vic's Matinee Theater. Our producers, our cast, our director, our writers, and our technical men, Mr. Warno and his orchestra, and our sponsor, Vic's. To you, our audience, we say thanks for your many expressions of appreciation for our efforts, the knowledge that you're enjoying our productions, and to your relatives in the service of our country who can't be with you tomorrow, well, God bless them and bring them back safely for another Christmas. Thank you, and a very Merry Christmas.
Today's play was by David Victor and Herbert Little, Jr. and was based on an original story by Charles Tazwell. It was directed by Richard Sanville. Next Sunday, Vic's Matinee Theater will bring you the story of a woman who couldn't spare the time for love and a man who changed her mind. The gay, romantic Paramount comedy in which Claudette Colbert and Fred McMurray made such a delightful couple. Next week, No Time for Love, starring Victor Jory. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
That best wish is peace on earth. Much of Reynolds' expanding aluminum production now goes to the defense of the nation, the defense of our free world. But the ultimate aim is peace, always. And the great destiny of light, strong, rust-proof Reynolds aluminum lies in peaceful progress. The Reynolds Metals Company looks forward to the day when all aluminum production can be turned to constructive uses. In a future when the inspired hope of Christmas shall be realized. And on earth, peace, goodwill toward men.
This is Chesterton Radio, your home for podcasts of works by G.K. Chesterton, plus drama, comedy, mystery, science fiction, big bands, and much more. The soundtrack to your Chesterton day at chestertonradio.com.
Don't turn that dial. This is the right station if you want to hear about Jonathan Thomas and his Christmas on the Moon. Are you gathered up close to your radio? If you're not, then hurry, because you know this is the time for Jonathan Thomas, and you'll want to learn if he's kept his promise to rescue Santa, who was stolen away by the bad Squibbobliums, and it wasn't in play. Jonathan Thomas and the Man in the Moon said not to worry, that they'd find him soon, and they and Gorgonzola the horse have been doing all that they can, of course. They've traveled along a dangerous road, past the Dragon's Cave and the home of the Toad. And oh, my goodness, they've had so much trouble because of a kettle that was set to bubble by the very worst kind of a wicked old witch who rules o'er the land of Rumplestitch. You see, when a witch prepares her brew, there's no telling what'll happen to you. And she caused Jonathan Thomas to fall asleep as they passed through the nightmare forest deep. But quick as a wink, there appeared on the scene their very good friend, the Fairy Queen. And he soon woke up, for she knew the charm. She's always trying to keep them from harm. And the wicked old witch was as mad as could be, and said, I'll get them yet, you wait and see. But the travelers brave set out once more, when suddenly they heard an awful roar. 'Twas only a lion who asked them to dine, when they named him Jigra, which he thought was fine. And he gave them a gift. 'Twas a box of growls, to frighten the witch and give her the howls. So they thanked him kindly and hurried away, because it was getting very late in the day. At last, being tired, they thought 'twould be wise if they sat down to rest. And then they got a surprise, for they sat right down on the Elf King's home and broke all to pieces his fairy throne. The Elf King was as angry could be, and said, for this damage you'll have to pay me. Just then, the old witch, mad as any old thing, came for Jonathan Thomas and the little Elf King. But they opened the box and let out a growl, and she soon flew away with a dreadful howl. And then the Elf King said, it's quite plain to me, I owe you my life, and here is a key to open the door in the wall of doors, and then, what's more, I'll give you my wish to take you through, and that applies to both you and you. And the road you travel, which you must because you must find Santa Claus, and the kidnapping mystery unravel. So they found the door as the Elf King said, and they were very careful to use their head, but they were filled with dread as they all went in. But then, here's where the story begins again.
Oh, Mr. Man in the Moon, if you please. This is the funniest place I ever saw.
That's a tremendous fibber, Jonathan Thomas, if I ever heard one. This place isn't the least bit funny.
Bit funny? I didn't mean that it was funny. Like, funny things are funny, but like unfunny things are sometimes funny.
Sometimes funny. That's very complicated, Jonathan Thomas. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't even make 1 cent, and it takes 5 cents to make a nickel.
To make a nickel.
Oh, my goodness gracious to Jimmy Crickets. Who on earth is mocking me? Mocking me?
Maybe it's only a nickel.
Maybe it is.
Oh, we must have come in the wrong door, but it's too late now because the door is locked and we can't get out.
Oh, look, Mr. Man in the Moon. Somebody's coming.
Huh?
Maybe it's a parade. Or maybe soldiers.
Oh, flubdudge. It is soldiers. 3 of them. And they're probably coming to arrest us. Oh, what shall we do? Whatever shall we do? Whatever shall we do?
We better hide.
Oh,
Maybe.
it's too late now. Here they are.
Company, halt. 1, 2, and 2 is 4. Add 4 more and it equals 8. So stop right now before it's too late.
Hey, who are you?
Yes, who are you?
I'm me.
I'm myself.
And I'm I. We're me and myself and I. And we'd like some strawberry pie. With plenty of jam and a slice of ham and bread that is made out of rye.
Jiminy Crickets! What a silly thing to say.
Yes, what a silly thing to say.
Silly is as silly does.
What's sillier than silly is a bear named Gus?
Who is locked in jail without any bail, and we had to do it because...
Oh, did you say Gus?
Maybe he's deaf.
He looks like a thief.
We'd better tell the chief.
Gus is my teddy bear, and he ran away. Have you got him?
He's safe and sound.
With bars all around.
And gagged with plum pudding till he can't make a sound.
Oh, did you hear what they said, Mr. Man in the Moon? They got Gus. They got Gus.
That's wonderful, but where in the world are we? That's what I'd like to know.
Why don't you guess?
Before we confess.
And if you guess right, we'll quickly say yes.
We don't know where we are.
Well, imagine that.
Well, by my hat.
They don't know where they're at.
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
Why, this is the kingdom without any malice.
It's the very good land of our Queen Alice.
there isn't a rhyme, but I'll make up a line which ends with the word Squoosh-Wallis.
Oh, you mean Alice through the looking glass.
The answer is yes.
How did you guess?
You're very smart, we'll have to confess.
Oh, no wonder everything is made out of looking glasses.
Well, then, for gracious sakes, if this is the land of the looking glass, tell us where to find the Queen.
The Queen isn't lost.
Nobody said she was.
Then why should you find her?
Oh, for goodness sakes, to Jiminy Cricket, you're driving me crazy. We don't want to find her.
You couldn't anyway, 'cause she's already found.
You're getting me so sore I'll rip and roar and flub-dudge. We should like to see Queen Alice.
Yes, we should like to see Queen Alice, 'cause I want to find God.
So, please don't tease and tell us how to go about it.
You don't have to go about it. Just go straight down the road.
Till you come to a toad with a code in his head.
Of course, on your horse, that's what me and myself said.
Then you'll find a door.
And what's more?
You should rap, and that adds up to 4.
Oh, what's the door for?
It's the door to the palace
of good Queen Alice.
There isn't a rhyme, but I'll make up a line which ends with the word Squoosh-Wallis.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Giddy up, Gorgonzola. Come on. Oh, well, we're off to see Alice in Alice's palace, for she was a very good queen. The best in the land, I understand, and not in the least bit mean. Oh, we're off to see Alice in Alice's palace. We're off to Alice's palace.
So down the road they went, as quick as if they'd been sent, to the palace of Alice, the looking-glass queen, who always is nice and never is mean. So clippity-clop and clippity-clop, till pretty soon they came to a stop, and there was a wall that was very tall, and only one door to go through. So quickly, of course, they climbed off the horse, and before you could count up to 2, they knocked and knocked, but the door was locked.
Maybe nobody's home. Maybe.
Fiddlesticks, Jonathan Thomas. If nobody's home, then somebody must be there. Knock once more.
Oh, somebody's coming.
No admittance until the second Tuesday of next week. Well, for goodness sakes alive.
That wasn't a nice thing to do. People shouldn't ever slam doors in people's faces.
Knock again, Jonathan Thomas. We'll keep right on knocking until somebody does let us in. Hey. Goodness gracious.
Oh. Look, the man in the moon. It's a big fog.
What are you trying to do? Break the door down?
Oh, no, sir. If you please. We're just knocking. But no one will answer the door.
Well, now, what's it been asking?
What's been asking, if you please?
Why the door? The questions come first, the answers come after. So what did the door ask you?
It didn't ask me anything.
Then why do you wish it answered if it didn't ask anything?
I've only been knocking at the door. The door don't say anything.
Sometimes they do. They say, keep out. This strictly means you. Oh, for gracious sakes. And you shouldn't go around knocking on doors either. If you can't say anything good about them, then keep still. What did this door ever do to you?
Why, nothing, of course.
Well, then, you leave it alone, and it'll leave you alone. It's as easy as subtracting 9 from 8.
Well,
Stop that knocking, you little zany. Whatever it is, we don't want it. So go blow and never come back. Or it wouldn't surprise me if you don't get a whack. For I am Napoleon the Great and Henry number 8. And I much prefer the latter. And I'm not at all sad. No. But I am a little bit mad. Mad. I am the Mad Hatter.
Well, now, what next is going to happen? Things haven't been bad enough without going to a funny place like the Looking Glass Land, where frogs talk and where the Mad Hatter lives. Oh, my goodness. I wonder what'll happen next. But maybe Queen Alice will be very nice to Jonathan Thomas and the Man in the Moon, and I certainly hope so, because Christmas isn't very far off, and they've just got to find Santa Claus in time. So don't forget to listen to the next story of Jonathan Thomas and his Christmas on the Moon, will you? I won't.
You are listening to Chesterton Radio at chestertonradio.com.
Ave Maria Hour presents the story of St. Nicholas, patron saint of children everywhere. This inspired drama is the work of brown-habited friars who, in addition to the task of presenting these dramas of the lives of the saints, conduct a perpetual miraculous medal novena for the spiritual and material aid of all. These friars will gladly offer prayers to your aid, regardless of your race, creed, or color. You should address your request to the Father Director of the Ave Maria Hour at Garrison, New York. And now the friars give you the story of St. Nicholas.
Come with us to a great metropolis, a modern Babylon whose towers of stone and steel rise to dizzy heights and seem to pierce the puffy white clouds that sweep across a sky of deepest blue. Far below, on the wind-swept streets of the city, the roar of traffic rises on the clear and frosty air. It is shortly before Christmas, and throngs of eager shoppers, rich and poor alike, fill the city streets. Suddenly, our eyes fall upon a little boy as he darts in and out of the crowd. His clothes are worn and threadbare, and in his tightly clenched fist, knuckles blue with the biting cold, he holds a somewhat crumpled envelope. But wait, he pauses in front of the great cathedral, as though arrested by some sound that comes from within its holy precinct. Let us draw closer and listen with him. Voices sounding strangely celestial in the midst of this modern setting. Voices singing a Christmas hymn. How beautiful. How very beautiful. No wonder our little friend paused to listen. But look, he is mounting the cathedral steps, and as he does, slowly as though by an unseen hand, the great cathedral door is opened, and a kindly aged priest stands framed in the doorway. He speaks to the little boy.
You like the music, little boy?
Oh, yes, Father. It's very beautiful.
Well, then, come in. You're quite welcome. And besides, you must be cold. Come in.
Thank you, Father. Thank you. Ooh, it's nice and warm in here.
Yes, it is. I've been watching you from the window, and I noticed that though you were shaking with cold, you paused to listen to the singing. You must like the Christmas hymns.
Oh, I do, Father. I do.
So do I, my boy. That's why I came here. When I heard that the choir was going to rehearse them, I could not stay away. But look here. You've dropped your envelope.
Oh, I mustn't lose that. It's very important. It's a letter to Santa Claus.
Letter to Santa Claus, is it? Well, that's fine. I suppose it contains a long list of what you want for Christmas.
No, Father. You see, I only want one thing. A job for my daddy.
A job for your daddy?
Yes, Father. Oh, we're very poor. Daddy's been out of work for a long time.
Then you must let me help you. Instead of mailing this letter to Santa Claus, let me bring it to the attention of St. Nicholas.
St. Nicholas? But isn't he Santa Claus?
Well, some people say he is. Others say he's not. But regardless of that, St. Nicholas and Santa Claus are a good deal alike. You see, they both love little children. They want to see them happy and gay. That's why I think St. Nicholas might help you.
Won't you tell me more about him, Father?
Well, very well, if you wish me to.
Oh, I do, Father, I do.
Well, many, many years ago, in the early part of the 4th century, a sailing ship was making its way through the calm and peaceful waters toward the shore of a distant Alexandria. Nicholas, then a young priest, was standing on the deck, engaged in conversation with the captain. And then...
Well, Father Nicholas, how did you enjoy your little pilgrimage to the Holy Land?
Very much indeed, Captain. It was most inspiring and very awesome. To think that I have walked along the same roads that once the Lord Jesus Christ did walk. To think that these feet of mine have trod the very ground upon which the blood of Christ did fall, in tiny, precious drops, as he climbed the long and weary way to Calvary. Ah, yes, Captain, it was most inspiring. I shall have much to tell my people when I return to Patara.
Patara? Then you're going to Patara, Father?
Why, yes, of course. That is where we are headed, are we not?
Oh, no, Father, you're quite mistaken. We're headed for Alexandria.
Alexandria? But I was told in Jerusalem that this ship made port in Patara.
Unfortunately, you've been misled, Father.
But I must get to Patara.
I'm sorry, Father. I cannot change my course.
But it is most important that I get to Patara as soon as possible.
And it is equally important that I get this ship to Alexandria. I am sailing under orders, Father. I cannot disregard them, and I will not disobey them. Why, what was that?
Thunder, Captain, thunder.
Yes, it was thunder. And suddenly a great wind has risen. Strange. A moment ago all was peaceful. The water still and calm. And now... All hands on deck! Look to your sails! Take fast those lines! Helmsman, hold your course! Father Nicholas, you'd better go to your cabin. Looks like we're in for a real blow.
Oh, let me stay here, Captain. Let me aid you with my prayers.
Oh, very well. But you'd be safer in your cabin. Those lines! Take them fast!
Oh, Almighty Father in heaven, protect thy children against the raging elements. Still the tempest, we beseech thee, and allow us to reach our destination in safety. Oh God, thou who art the master of men, Can the master of wind and wave hear this prayer? And if it is thy will...
Listen. The thunder is dying away in the distance. The storm is over.
Yes, the storm is over, Captain. But behold, it has driven us within sight of land.
Yes. Yes, so it has. There in the distance, I see the shores of... But wait. Those are not the shores of Alexandria. We've been driven far off our course. Those are the shores of...
Of Patara, Captain. Those are the shores of Patara.
Then, Father Nicholas, the wind and waves have granted your wish.
Not my wish, Captain, but God's will.
That is but one of the stories told of St. Nicholas. There are many, many others. Among them, the story of the woolcomber's 3 daughters.
Tell me about it, Father.
Very well, I shall. It happened that Nicholas' parents died when he was very young and left him a great fortune, a fortune that he was ever pleased to share with the poor. And one day, as he was...
Father Nicholas, I've heard so much of your many kindnesses to the poor and needy that I've come to believe that you alone can aid me.
Have you forgotten God?
No, Father, but he seems to have forgotten us. He seems to have passed right by our little home.
Oh, no. No, my child. He passes by no home unless the door is locked against him. And even then, he knocks. Well, tell me, what troubles you?
Well, Father, I am only one of 3 sisters, daughters of a poor woolcomber. And, well, our father believes that we have reached the age when we should marry.
Marry? But you are a mere child. Your sisters must be a great deal older than you.
But they're not, Father Nicholas. They're younger. Nevertheless, Father insists that we marry at once. He says he cannot afford to keep us at home any longer. So we must find husbands or... Oh, Father, it's horrible to think about. He means to turn us out into the street.
I see. And you do not care to marry?
We cannot marry. No one will have us.
But why not? You're certainly not unattractive. In fact, you're very pretty.
It isn't that, Father. It's simply that we are poor and haven't any dowry to bring to our husbands.
I see. And is a dowry so important?
It seems to be. The young men won't even look at us. Oh, Father, if only something could be done.
Well, perhaps something will be done. I shouldn't be at all surprised. But now you must go home, comfort your sisters, and pray with them, and have faith in God, the giver of all good things.
And that night, when darkness had cloaked the city, a solitary figure strode down the narrow, winding street to the home of the poor woolcomber. He paused for a moment before the humble dwelling, and then quickly took a bag from beneath his clothes, then tossed it through the open window and went on. The next morning, joyous cries were heard from the issue from the woolcomber's home. A bag of gold had been lying on the floor as though it had been dropped from heaven. A short time passed, and the first of the woolcomber's daughters was married. Some few days later, the incident was repeated, and the second daughter married. Again, for the 3rd time, the solitary figure passed in front of the woolcomber's home, and as he drew his arm back to toss the bag through the open window, another figure stepped from behind a tree and called to...
Wait. Oh, so it is as I suspected. You are the bearer of gifts, Father Nicholas.
So, at last I've been found out. Yes, friend Woolcomber, it is I. But no one else must know. You must not tell a single soul. You must
Every night since the second bag of gold was found, I have hidden there behind that tree and waited for the third. I was sure it would come, and fairly sure that you would be the one to bring it. Oh, good St. Nicholas, you are kind indeed, and I am cruel and wicked.
Oh. Now, you call me the bearer of gifts. Very well, so be it. Even as your daughters have received their gifts of gold, so shall you also receive a gift, the greatest gift of all. For unto you I offer God. Accept him, I pray you, and enshrine him in your heart of hearts.
And so, thanks to the kindness of the good St. Nicholas, the daughters of the Woolcombers were happily married. Some time later, Nicholas was made Bishop of Myra, and it was during that time that the cruel Emperor Diocletian began his persecutions of the Christians. Nicholas was seized and cast into a dungeon, where for many years he was forced to remain. Often at night he would fall to his knees.
Oh, God, my Father, grant me this petition. Let me live until at last once more I shall walk in the bright sunlight and look upon the smiling faces of children happy at their play. Let me hear their joyous laughter ringing in my ears. Let me speak to them and tell them of thy Son, who said, Suffer the little children to come unto me, and forbid them not, for of such is the kingdom of heaven. O Heavenly Father, I beseech thee to hear this prayer of thy servant, who has ever loved thee.
Though he remained in the dark dungeon a long, long time, the Emperor Diocletian was finally defeated by Constantine, who, upon ascending the throne, issued an order that all Christians be released and allowed to worship their God. Once more, all was peaceful. One day, as Nicholas stood in a beautiful garden near a church, breathing deeply of the delicately, sweetly scented air, gazing at the brilliantly hued blossoms as they nodded their dainty heads, the soft notes of a hymn sung by the choir within the church.
Father Nicholas.
Yes, my son?
Something terrible has happened. The little boy they called Peter fell into a fire and was burned to death.
Burned to death? Oh,
yes,
no.
Father. Burned to death. Oh, it was awful. Awful. See, Father, that crowd of people coming through the gates. They are neighbors of the dead child's mother. She's bringing the body to you, Father. She wants you to do...
Father Nicholas.
Yes, my daughter?
You see my son. He's dead, Father. Dead. His body is black, charred like a piece of burnt wood. He loved you, Father. You used to tell him stories about Jesus. Here, take him in your arms. All that remains of him. He'd like that.
Very well, my daughter. I shall take him in my arms, as so often I have done before. Give him to me. Oh, Peter.
Oh, Father, what shall I do? What shall I do?
Wait, my daughter. Oh, merciful Father, thou who didst give life to this child, who now rests within my arms, silent and lifeless, forgive me if I ask thee to give me the power with which to restore that life. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Amen.
The child moves. He opens his eyes. And look, no longer is his body charred and black, but it glows again with the ruddiness of health. He lives. The child lives. A miracle. A miracle.
Oh, dear Lord, I thank thee.
My son lives. He lives. Oh, Father Nicholas, you are truly the bearer of gifts. You have bestowed upon my son the gift of life. May God bless you.
But Father Nicholas was yet to endure another great trial. Some time later, the great council of Nicaea was assembled, and bishops from all parts of the known world gathered to discuss the problems of the church. Now, among these bishops was one by the name of Arius. He had composed several pieces of music, and through them hoped to gain personal fame. He appeared before the council and...
I ask the permission of this council to be allowed to continue using these songs I have composed. I feel that these words...
These songs are vile.
Father Nicholas, the Bishop of Myra, forgets himself.
Perhaps, but I have not forgotten the songs. And I repeat, they are vile. Silence! You have not asked permission to speak, and yet you have spoken, Father Nicholas. I am sorry, Father. But you see, I have heard the songs to which Bishop Arius refers, and it is my firm belief that both the words and the music are unworthy of the official recognition of the church.
That is for the council to decide, Father Nicholas, not you.
Very well. But if perchance the council should decide in favor of Bishop Arius' proposal, let me point out that the council will be making a very great mistake.
He dares to censure the church.
Yes, as if it were possible for the council to make a mistake.
Silence.
Aye, aye.
If you are quite finished, Father Nicholas, I should like to state that not only shall the council decide the fate of the musical compositions in question, but your own fate as well.
And largely due to the persistent efforts of Bishop Arius, Father Nicholas was found guilty of conduct unbecoming a bishop and deprived of his mitre and pall. He was even imprisoned for a time, and often at night in the loneliness of his cell, he knelt in prayer to the Blessed Mother. One night...
Oh, Blessed Mother, help me. Help me to understand how I have failed thy son. What have I done to displease him, that he should hide his face from me, and allow me to remain imprisoned here in the darkness? If I have sinned against him by some thoughtless act, or word, or deed, I humbly beg forgiveness. Whatever I have done out of love for him. And yet I have failed him. I have failed him.
Nicholas, good and faithful servant.
That voice. Oh, yes. Yes, it is she. Oh, blessed Virgin Mary, you have come to me.
Be of good courage, Nicholas. Thy mitre and pall will soon be restored to thee. My son wills it.
Your son wills it. Oh, then I have not failed.
You have not failed him, Nicholas. You are one in whom he is well pleased. Farewell. Farewell.
Oh, she's gone. Gone. Oh, but gone too is my grief, and all my heaviness of heart. I have not failed my Lord.
And the promise given Father Nicholas by the Blessed Mother was fulfilled. His mitre and pall were restored to him, and once again, as Bishop of Myra, he gathered the little children about him and told them stories of Jesus.
And then the angel spoke and said, Fear not, for I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all the people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And you will find the baby wrapped in swaddling clothes and lying in a manger. And as the angel finished speaking, a host of other angels joined him, and they began to sing, Peace on earth, goodwill toward men.
And so you see, little boy, St. Nicholas loved little children very much, and was always very kind to them. That's why I think he might help you.
And didn't he ever die, Father?
He shed the burden of flesh, as one day we must all shed it. But for souls such as his, there is no death. His soul lives on and on, reborn each year in the spirit of Christmas. But come, let us kneel together and pray to him, asking him to grant your Christmas wish and to find a job for your daddy.
This story of St. Nicholas, which has been presented as an Ave Maria hour, is the work of Franciscan friars in a monastery high above the Hudson River at Garrison, New York. Long ago, they consecrated their lives to helping others, feeding and sheltering the homeless that climb the winding path from the road below. To aid you and to aid other Ave Maria listeners in their prayers, to strengthen their faith, the friars in their little chapel conduct a perpetual miraculous medal novena. In this novena, they will gladly pray for the solution of your problems, spiritual or material, regardless of your race, creed, or color. Here are thanksgiving letters from grateful listeners for whom the friars have offered prayers.
From Philadelphia. My husband was at home sick for more than 4 years. I asked your prayers that he would be able to return to work. Last week he found work. Thank God. From Wayne, Pennsylvania. I do thank you for your prayers for my sister and me, especially my sister, who was in trouble. I am thankful to say her affairs have been settled, and she is out of the trouble that was confronting her. From St. David, Pennsylvania. This is a small Thanksgiving offering for you in behalf of your homeless men for a great favor through their prayers and the miraculous medal novena. Early last spring, I sent a petition for my wife's recovery from a complete nervous and physical collapse, which she had been suffering for 18 months. Within 2 weeks after sending that petition, her condition improved, and she has been improving steadily ever since. Truly, it is miraculous. God bless you in your great and noble work.
Many, many other Thanksgiving letters have been received. If you wish to send a request or petition to be entered in this novena, simply write it in your own words and address it to the Father Director of the Ave Maria Hour at Garrison, New York. The friars will send a miraculous medal to those who ask for it. Here is the address again. Father Director of the Ave Maria Hour at Garrison, New York.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Railroad Hour. And here comes our star-studded show train. Tonight, the Association of American Railroads presents the gay white Christmas musical Holiday Inn, starring George Murphy, Martha Tilton, Jerome Cowan, and your host, Gordon MacRae. Our choir is under the direction of Norman Luboff, and the music is arranged and conducted by Carmen Dragon. Yes, tonight another great musical success is brought to you by the American Railroads. The same railroads that also bring you most of the food you eat, the clothes you wear, the fuel you burn, and all the other things you use in your daily life. And now, here is Gordon MacRae.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Well, tonight, it is our particular pleasure to bring you Paramount Pictures' delightful musical Holiday Inn, with its great score by Mr. Irving Berlin. As the lovely leading lady of the piece, you will hear Miss Martha Tilton. Mr. Jerome Cowan appears as the agent Danny, who handles the careers of Ted Hanover and Jim Hardy, played respectively by Mr. George Murphy and myself. And so for the next 45 minutes, come with us and have a happy holiday.
Happy holiday! Happy holiday!
Looking back, I see that each of the moments I treasure and remember was a melody. Because for each moment there was a song, and for each song there is now a memory. Happy Holiday takes me back to the beginning. 1 year ago, Christmas time. I was working in a florist shop, and all of a sudden the door opened, and Ted Hanover walked in. He was whistling. Oh, was I surprised. The most famous dancer on Broadway doesn't walk into a shop every day. I just stood there with my mouth open.
Excuse me, do you usually go around like that, or are you waiting for someone to throw in a fish?
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Hanover. I just never expected to see you.
Oh, you know who I am.
Oh, yes, I know who you are, all right.
Well, I'd like some orchids, the finest in the house.
A corsage?
No, I want a dozen, so she can pin them any place she wants.
Oh, all right.
Oh, you know that song, huh? We're using that in our act.
Well, I only know the beginning. Happy holiday, happy holiday.
While the merry bells keep ringing, may your every wish come true.
Happy holiday, happy holiday.
May the calendar keep ringing happy holidays to you. If you're burdened down with trouble, if your nerves are wearing thin, pack your load down the road, come to Holiday Inn. If you're laid up with the breakdown, throw away your vitamin. Don't get worse, grab your nurse, come to Holiday Inn.
Happy holiday, happy holiday. May the calendar keep ringing. Happy holiday to you. Holiday Inn. That's a wonderful sound. It's too bad there isn't any such place.
Ah, but there is, way out in the wilds of Connecticut. You see, my partner Jim Hardy just bought it. That's why he wrote that song. It's going to be open just over each holiday, and he's going to have a big floor show that ties in with that season.
Oh, that's a wonderful idea.
Why, sure it is, if you have an affinity for the carrot and the field mouse. Personally, I loathe the country. Say, how about the orchids?
Oh, yes, Mr. Hanover. I'll have them wrapped in just a minute here. Mr. Hanover, as long as you're in the shop and you have such a kind face...
And now, look, young lady, look. I'm getting married tomorrow. The lady is waiting. And at the moment, she's engaged to my partner, and we have to explain things to him so he'll understand, you see. And we also have a show to do in an hour, so please make with the package if you don't mind.
Well, I am, but I can talk while I'm rapping. You see, this is really just a part-time job.
Oh.
Actually, I sing and dance. Mr. Hanover, I want...
I know. You studied dancing since you were a little child. You spent long, weary hours in every theatrical agency on Broadway, but just now I have to get back to the club and get on with the
How
next...
did you know all those things about me?
My dear, that's the story of every star and would-be star on Broadway. Forget it, kid. Marry the florist and raise little orchids. Then you won't get your heart broken.
Well, okay. Here's your package. That's $36. Special rate because you bought by the dozen.
Oh, thank you. Here. You may keep the change. Say, if you really want a job, why don't you take a run up to Connecticut and see Jim Hardy? Our act's folding tonight, and he'll be up there tomorrow.
Well, thanks, Mr. Hanover. Thank you very much.
Oh, don't mention it. Happy holiday.
Happy holiday. I didn't realize then how much that song would come to mean to me. The next day, I invested a little money in a train ticket and went up to Connecticut and knocked on the door of Holiday Inn. Jim opened the door.
Well, hello. Santa Claus is a day early this year, I see. Come in.
Mr. Hardy?
Yep. Here, let me help you out with those things.
Thank you. It was a cold ride up from the station. I'm Linda Mason, Mr. Hardy.
Well, I'm glad to know you, Linda.
I happened to run into Ted Hanover, and he suggested I come to see you about maybe getting a job in the show.
You dropped the wrong name, lady. Ted Hanover's about as popular around here as measles.
Oh. Well, you can't blame a girl for trying. You see, I work in a florist shop, and yesterday Mr. Hanover walked in and asked for a dozen orchids.
Yeah. And today the girl that I was going to marry yesterday is wearing them. Oh, that beautiful Lila.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all right. I'll get over it. I'd rather she made him unhappy than me.
Well, when are you going to open the inn?
New Year's Eve. Did that wolf in tap shoes tell you the idea of the inn? You see, I've written some special music for each holiday.
Why, no. I had no idea you were a composer, too.
Well, I had hoped to get the inn open tonight. I'd written a special song for the occasion, but I just couldn't make it by Christmas.
Oh, I'd love to hear the song.
You would? Well, fortunately, I happen to have a piano handy. I live for moments like this. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be Hello, Linda.
Hello, Jim.
Would it be all right at this early date if I said Merry Christmas?
Well, it is rushing the season, but it sounds beautiful.
You know, I like your voice. Maybe... Oh, pardon me a moment, Linda. Hello.
Oh, hello, Jim. This is Ted.
Goodbye, Ted.
No, Jim, wait a minute. Don't hang up on me. You don't know what I've been through.
Nothing trivial, I hope.
Jim, look, I want to read you a wire that just came. You remember Lila, don't you?
Oh, yes. Yes, I remember Lila.
Well, the wire's from her. I was supposed to meet her at the License Bureau at City Hall, but she sent a Western Union boy in her place.
Well, congratulations. I hope you two will be very, very happy.
Now, Jim, look, don't joke. This is the wire. She says, sorry, darling, but flying to Texas tonight to marry the most wonderful millionaire in the world. Hope you find a new partner soon. Love, Lila.
Well, that's life.
No, that's Lila. Jim, look, I'm coming to Holiday Inn. See, I'm going to help you open the place up. Now, we'll get it open fine by New Year's Eve. We'll put on a big show.
Now, take it easy. No, thanks, Ted. I've already got my show lined up.
Oh, but Jim...
So long, Ted. I'm sorry, Linda. That was just a fellow who got the wrong number. Linda, would you like to open here with me on New Year's Eve?
Oh, thank you. You know I'd love to. Maybe there is a Santa Claus after all.
Well, could it be me?
Well, Ted Hanover did send me here.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you one thing. It's the first good turn he's ever done me.
Oh, it's going to be such fun to be a part of Holiday Inn.
You're right. 'Cause if you're burdened down with trouble, and if your nerves are wearing thin,
pack your load down the road.
Come to Holiday Inn.
Happy holiday.
Happy holiday.
Happy holiday.
Happy holiday.
May the calendar keep ringing. Happy holiday.
Well, here we are, starting on that last week just before Christmas. The week that's likely to get pretty frantic for a lot of us. There's that shopping that hasn't been done yet, and the gift wrapping, and the last-minute Christmas mailing, if you didn't follow the good, sound rule of mailing early. And then there's a lot of decorating and a lot of preparing for Christmas dinner and, a dozen or two other things that have to be done. Yes, it takes a lot of planning, as well as a lot of doing to get ready for Christmas. It started weeks, even months ago. The producers began to turn out their materials, the manufacturers to make their goods, the merchants to stock their shelves. And all through that process, you'd find railroads doing their indispensable part, bringing the raw materials together at the place of manufacture, hauling the fuel, and bringing in the food and the other supplies needed to keep the work going, distributing the product, delivering the goods all over this land. Now, during all these weeks and months, you might not have been on a train. You probably didn't go into a railroad freight house. But just the same, the railroads were working for you, all to the end that so far as transportation is concerned, you might lack nothing, which could help to make this a Merry Christmas. And now back to Holiday Inn, starring George Murphy, Martha Tilton, Jerome Cowan, and your host, Gordon MacRae.
Happy holiday. Happy holiday.
Yes, for each moment there was a song, and for each song there is now a memory. On New Year's Eve, Holiday Inn was jammed with people. After the first floor show, Jim and I went out in the kitchen and helped dish salads onto plates. I remember looking at Jim and thinking, this really is the beginning of a new year in my life.
Penny for those thoughts.
Oh, well, I was just thinking, it's almost a new year.
Yeah, those old hands are practically straight up, aren't they? 1 minute to midnight, 1 minute to go. 1 minute to say goodbye before we say hello. Let's start the new year right, 12 o'clock tonight. When they dim the light, let's begin kissing the old year out, kissing the new year in. Let's watch the old year die with a fond goodbye and our hopes as high as a kite. How can our love go wrong if we start the new year right? Hey, that sounds like it. Come on, let's get out on that dance floor.
All right.
Happy New Year, everybody!
Hello, Jim, old pal, old friend, no pain in my neck.
Hey, Ted, what are you doing out here at Holiday Inn?
Happy New Year! Hiya, baby, hiya.
Good evening, Mr. Hanover.
Now, look, Ted, you're a little the worse for alcohol. How about going upstairs and lying down?
Oh, no. I don't want to go upstairs. Come on, little girl. Come on. How about a little dance with old Ted Hanover, huh?
Oh, no. Come on, Linda.
It's all right, Jim. I don't mind.
Oh, listen to that music. Just listen and get with it. Oh, that's a baby. Just glide it. Just glide it.
Ted Hanover dancing. Let's stop and watch. Hey, there's Ted Hanover and his new partner.
Thank you.
Oh, Mr. Hanover. Jim.
He's okay, Linda. I'll take care of him.
Whether he's sober or not, I never danced with anyone like that.
Hey, that's a great finish to that number, Hanover.
Yeah, it's a great finish to a lot of things.
Happy holiday. Oh, no, not that. Who's making that awful noise?
I am, Ted. It's me, your agent, Danny. Open your eyes and look at me.
Oh, no, I'm afraid to. It might make me ill. Danny, what do you want? 10% of this headache?
I don't need it. I got one of my own. I was with you last night.
Well. Is Junior coming, too?
Oh, hello, Jim. Jim, where did you get that extra head?
Oh, I always wear it in case one goes out on me.
Oh, Danny, boy, where am I?
At Holiday Inn.
Well, where are you?
Who, me? I'm at Holiday Inn, too.
Jim?
Me, too. I'm right here with the rest of you.
Huh. Crowded, isn't it? Hey, how did I get here?
Well, I'll tell you a long story. Last night was New Year's Eve.
Oh, yes. Now it comes back to me. Now I remember.
You know, that's too bad about Lila, but on the whole, I think you're better off doing a single.
Oh, no, boy. Boy, I got to have a partner.
Well, aren't you tired of getting partners and falling in love with them and losing them?
I don't know why you didn't tell me you had a new girl on the leash.
A new girl?
Yeah, the one you were dancing with last night. She was terrific.
Now, wait a minute. Was I dancing last night?
Why, you got the best hand of your life.
No kidding.
I couldn't get close enough to see the girl's face, but her figure.
Yeah? You didn't get close, though.
No. The closest I was when she was leaving the dance floor. I only saw her then from the back.
Uh-huh.
She was about this. I mean, she has a... Well, if I ever saw her from the back again, I'd recognize her. You saw her, Jim. You describe her.
Who, me? Well, I wasn't watching very closely. She was medium-built sort of girl with a medium face. She had an evening gown on with a medium kind of belt in the back.
Just a medium girl.
Yeah, she's built like a former girlfriend of mine named Consuela Schlepkiss. Yeah, that Consuela was all right. Used to play the pinball machine a lot down at the corner drugstore. Why, I remember one time she was high man 3 weeks in a row.
Oh, that's dandy. Thanks. That helps a lot.
Oh, I'm happy to help you out any time, Danny. I'll do as much.
I want to tell you something, boys. She'll be back. A chance meeting in the night. Destiny drawing two pairs of feet together. No woman could pass up a chance like... She'll be back next holiday, and I'll be here waiting.
Oh, you will, huh?
Yes, I will, huh?
Okay. It's your time. Waste it. I'll see you later.
Hello, Jim. Well, I've got my overnight case packed. All ready to go back to the city and the florist shop.
Linda, I've been thinking about that Lincoln's birthday number. I've decided we better do it in blackface.
Blackface?
Mm-hmm. You and I, the chorus, and everyone in blackface.
I went back to New York. A whole lot of things all mixed up in my mind. The excitement of dancing with Ted Hanover and the excitement of singing with Jim. And most of all, the excitement of just being around Jim. I could hardly wait for Lincoln's birthday, but at last it came, and once more I was with Jim on the stage of Holiday Inn, in blackface.
There's a man who's the pride of this great nation, the man who's the cause of tiny baby boy was born. Abraham. When he growed up, this tiny babe, the folks all called him Honest Abe. Abraham, oh Abraham. In 1860, he became the 16th president. Now he's in the Hall of Fame, the most respected gem. That is why we celebrate this blessed February date. Abraham, Abraham.
The country's going to the dogs to shout it loud and long. Then from a cabin made of logs, the right man came along.
The USA's United thanks to one whose name was Nancy Hanks.
What's his name?
Abraham.
Abraham.
He gave this land the finest son who ever went to Washington.
Abraham.
Abraham.
Oh, Abraham.
Abraham.
When someone told him General Grant was drinking every night, he answered, go see if you can't get all my generals tied. That's why we celebrate this blessed February day.
Abraham
was a real fine man.
That was Lincoln's birthday, Jim and me in blackface. And let me tell you, even with charcoal all over his kisser, he was something to start a girl dreaming. I couldn't wait to get back to the inn on St. Valentine's Day, and I was there early in a brand new dress, wearing my heart on my sleeve.
Hey, you really look like something dreamed up for the occasion.
Oh, thank you. Oh, the inn looks beautiful.
You like those cupids? I posed for them myself.
I thought they looked familiar.
Come over to the piano. I've got a valentine for you.
What is it?
Well, you just stand there by the piano and listen. This is for you, from me, honey. I mean every word.
Be careful, it's my heart. It's not my watch you're holding, it's my heart.
Oh, Jim.
It's not the note I sent you that you quickly burned. It's not the book I lent you, but you never returned. So remember, it's my heart, the heart with which so willingly I part. It's yours to take, to keep or break. But please, before you start, be careful. It's my heart.
Be careful.
It's my heart.
Oh, fine, fine.
Mr. Hanover.
That's not my watch you're holding. It's my heart.
How in the world did you get out here again?
Now, just keep playing, Beethoven. Just keep playing. Come on, baby. Let's finish that dance we started New Year's Eve. You know, I've been hunting for you ever since New Year's Eve.
You have? Well, I've been right here.
You have? Jim?
Jim?
Okay. Two of you finally got together. And I'm sure neither one of you need me anymore.
Jim.
Oh, Jim, don't be such a churro. Whatever that is. Don't pay any attention to him. He's just jealous because I always take his girls away from him. Now, can I help it if he isn't attractive to women?
I can't believe Jim would act like that.
Say, wait a minute. Where have I seen you before? I mean, before New Year's.
I sold you some orchids.
Of course, you're the girl in the flower shop. Well, it's a small world, isn't it, huh? Well, come on. We'd better start practicing. You and I are going to dance together tonight. Tonight and every night from now on.
From that moment, things changed between Jim and me. Oh, we went on doing shows together at Holiday Inn, but from that day I was dancing with Ted, not singing with Jim. The holidays were far from happy then. Easter was a bust. May Day was dark and rainy. June, the month of brides, was completely grim. And then came the 4th of July. Ted kept asking me to start out on the road with him with our numbers, but I didn't want to leave Holiday Inn. Finally, I decided to ask Jim what was wrong.
Wrong? What could be wrong? Everything's just dandy. Look, you better get in your costume. It's almost time for your number.
Something's wrong, and I want to know what it is.
Well, look, once I was in love with a girl. We were planning to get married, and all of a sudden a big change set in. She decided Ted was what she wanted, and that was that. And once is enough for that to happen to me. I'm not sticking my fingers in the fire anymore.
Do you think I'm like that?
Well, I haven't noticed any indications of you being any different.
Well, I'm very happy to know what you think of me.
Now, listen, kid. This is a big night in your life. Danny has one of the biggest directors in Hollywood in the audience. And you and Ted are practically on your way west right now.
Well, maybe they won't like us.
Oh, they'll like you. You're great, together or separately. And when they see that ballroom number and that 4th of July solo of Ted's, all you have to do is make your reservations on the Super Chief. And, by the way, that's all right with me, too.
Well, okay, that's all right with me, too. The show that night was sensational. It closed with Ted doing his solo, and the way it went over should have impressed even the toughest Hollywood director.
That was really great, Ted.
Thank you, Jim. Oh, Ted, you were sensational. You too, Linda.
Thanks, Danny.
Folks, I want you to meet Hollywood's greatest picture director, Mr. Howard Dunbar.
How do you
Mason.
do?
Hanover, it's nice to meet you.
And Mr. Dunbar, this is the greatest dance team in the business. Hanover and Mason.
Yeah, that really was a show.
This is the owner of Hollywood Inn, Jim Hardy. Say, Jim, is there some place that's quiet where Mr. Dunbar and I can discuss business?
Well, you can go right over there in my office.
Well, as a matter of fact, Danny, it's Mr. Hardy I'd really like to talk to.
Hey, Jim has a great voice, hasn't he, Mr. Dunbar?
Well, his voice is fine, all right, but it's the idea of Holiday Inn that interests me. I think there's a picture in it. We could do a story around two guys and a girl and use all the special songs you've written, Mr. Hardy.
Hey, that's a sensational idea.
Well, now, Mr. Dunbar, of course, considering the originality of the idea, we've got to get a pretty good price.
Now, wait a minute, Danny. Don't let your 10% run away with you. Thanks for the offer, Mr. Dunbar, but I'm not interested in selling.
Not interested? Jim, are you out of your mind? It's the heat, Mr. Dunbar. The heat. He hasn't been himself all day.
The ideas are natural for pictures, Jim.
Well, of course, we'd star Mr. Hanover and his partner in the picture.
I'm not interested in selling.
Well, that's up to you.
Well, now, wait a minute, Jim. Wait a minute. Don't be in such a
Jim,
hurry.
will you be decent for once in your life and let somebody else around here have a chance?
You had to louse this up for me, too, didn't you, Ted? Whether it's a girl or an idea or a song or even a new hat, as soon as I get it, you want it. And you usually get it, too, don't you?
Oh, now, Jim, you're my best friend.
Yeah, I always have been. But you always seem to wind up my worst enemy. Well, okay, you've wrecked everything now anyhow. Take the idea, take the music, take Linda, take the whole darn thing. And both of you do me a favor, will you? And stay away from me from now on.
Okay, Mr. Sorehead, if that's the way you wish it.
Well, Mr. Hardy will want you in Hollywood, too, to write the music.
No, thanks. I'll write the music here and send it to you.
Jim, if you'd only listen to me.
What do you want now, Linda? Shall I throw in my shirt, too?
Happy holiday.
There's the next show.
Happy holiday.
Yeah, happy holiday. And many of them.
May the calendar keep ringing. Happy holiday.
Earlier this evening, we were talking about the planning and preparation which goes into making the Christmas season what it is. For a lot of us, one of the high spots of that season will be a trip, for Christmas is the traditional reunion season of the year. It's the time when all members of the family gather happily together in one home, enjoying to the full the warm, friendly spirit of Yuletide. That's why weeks and months ago, railroads began to plan and prepare for the increased travel which Christmas brings. It was necessary first to figure ahead as closely as possible how many of you would travel, and where, and when. The next step was to line up the extra cars and the extra trains that will be needed. And that means also lining up the extra people that will be needed to run them, and making the necessary arrangements in busy terminals to get the trains in and out promptly, and to take care of the crowds. Many of these things can be planned ahead on the basis of experience and expectation. But then there comes along sometimes the unexpected. Weather, for example, a storm, snow, fog, icy roads would mean that a good many of you who plan to travel some other way might change your minds when the time comes to go and decide to go in the warmth and comfort and safety of the train. And if that should happen, the railroads will do their best to take care of you, too. So the railroads are making ready to carry you and your family on your Christmas journeys, and they hope that many of you will ride with them. But no matter how you go, they wish you a safe journey and a joyous reunion at journey's end. Our show train will return in just a moment after a brief pause for station identification. Now to Act 3 of Holiday Inn, starring George Murphy, Martha Tilton, Jerome Cowan, and your host, Gordon McRae.
The heart with which so willingly I part, it's yours to take, to keep or break. But please, before you start, be careful. It's my heart. And so Ted and I went to Hollywood, and Jim stayed at Holiday Inn. I was lonely in rooms crowded with people. I was impatient with voices that dripped with compliments. I was heartsick and completely without heart. Nothing mattered very much.
Linda, you know, we're getting to be quite an item in the gossip column.
Are we, Ted?
You bet we are. How about giving them something really concrete to write about, like, say, a wedding date?
I'm not in love with you, Ted.
But I'm in love with you.
Well, you always fall in love with your dancing partners.
I've never been in love like this before. Why don't you marry me and let me try to make you happy? We go so well together. We dance well, we talk well, we look well.
It all goes to show you how deceiving appearances can be, doesn't it?
Be careful, it's my heart. It's not my watch you're holding, it's my...
Ted, stop singing that song.
Oh, there's no use living in the past, Linda. The past is over. You might as well put your mind and heart in the future.
I know you're right. I know it's the sensible thing to do. I haven't even heard a word from him.
Come on, make a new life for yourself, Linda. Marry me.
You really want to marry me knowing how I feel?
Yes, I'm sure that you'll get over how you feel now, Linda. Every torch burns itself out eventually.
All right, Ted. All right.
Christmas?
Christmas?
Marry me Christmas Day.
All right. All right, Christmas Day. And so Ted and I planned a wedding for Christmas Day. And back at Holiday Inn, Jim sat alone, listening to a record he had made of a Thanksgiving song. He sat by himself, talking back to the record.
Okay, sing it good, Pappy, and cheer me up.
I've
I've got plenty to be thankful for.
Are you kidding?
I haven't got a great big yacht to sail from shore to shore. Still, I've got plenty to be thankful for.
Hey, you're really loaded, Dad.
I've got plenty to be thankful for.
Oh, so? Like what?
No private car, caviar, carpet on my floor.
Nothing.
Still, I've got plenty to be thankful for.
Why don't you go out there and tell her you love her, you jughead?
I've got eyes to see with,
You need glasses.
ears to hear with,
Big enough to fly with.
arms to hug with, lips to kiss with, someone to adore.
You're a little flat.
How could anybody ask for more?
You're not getting anywhere sitting here.
My needs are small, I buy them all at the 5 and 10 cent store.
Worst you could do is
So
say no.
I've got plenty to be thankful for.
Get on a train, you chowderhead. I've got plenty to be thankful for.
On the night before Christmas, we shot the last scene of Holiday Inn. I walked on the set, and there was the inn, just as it had been on the day I walked in and asked Jim for the job. There was the Christmas tree and the piano. There was everything, just as it was. All the props were there. Only the people were different. I wandered around, touching things, until the director said,
All right, darling. Now you come in with the sleigh, and we'll follow you on the boom from outside into the inn. And when you get there, go to the piano and do your song. You just make me cry when you sing it, and I'll get you out of here early so you can start getting ready for that wedding.
Yes, Mr. Dunbar.
All right, ready for a run-through.
I'm going to marry
my girl.
Jim, Ted. I'm going to marry Jim. I'm sorry, but it's the only right way for this story to end.
Well, that's very nice of you to let me know.
It's the only way the three of us can ever be happy together.
Oh, well, I bow to the inevitable, gracefully saying the appropriate, the seasonal thing. Happy holiday.
Happy holiday.
Happy holiday.
Happy holiday.
May the Cowboys keep ringing.
Happy holiday.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is Gordon MacRae giving a special thank you to George Murphy, Martha Tilton, and Jerome Cowan for guesting with us tonight. And to our splendid supporting cast, Jack Edwards and Jess Kirkpatrick. Holiday Inn was adapted for radio by Gene Holloway. Well, next week the show train will arrive on the same tracks and at the same time. On board will be Nadine Connor, Sterling Holloway, Clark Dennis, and Francis X. Bushman to join me in bringing you the Sigmund Romberg operetta, The Desert Song. And by the way, tonight we'd like to say welcome to a brand new show which follows us on ABC and will be heard each Monday night hereafter. It's Henry J. Taylor, the famous author and commentator, in his program, Your Land and Mine. And I'm sure you're going to like it. All aboard! Well, it looks as though we're ready to pull out. And so until next week, goodbye.
Holiday Inn was presented through the courtesy of Paramount Pictures, whose current release is the Technicolor production The Paleface, starring Bob Hope and Jane Russell. George Murphy appeared by arrangement with Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, producers of the all-star Technicolor musical Words and Music, based on the lives and music of Rodgers and Hart. Gordon MacRae appeared by arrangement with Warner Brothers. This is Marvin Miller speaking. The Railroad Hour is brought to you each week at this time by 132 railroads of the United States. Each one of them has its own operations and services. Each one competes keenly with others for business. But all of them work together through the Association of American Railroads for the improvement of all railroading and for better service to you.
Friends, this is Gordon MacRae again. All of us who helped to bring you the Railroad Hour join with our guest stars and the American Railroads in sincere wishes that you will have a Merry Christmas and a truly happy holiday season.
This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
Oh, wait. The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... I'm E.G. Marshall with the greetings of the season. I hope you like the tree. I put up a bit of holly, too. And mistletoe, of course, right there over the door. There are so many things to enjoy at this time of year. The warm, friendly spirit, that's most important. The time to be with family and friends. There'll be a lot of holiday traffic, too, as people make the rounds of visits or travelers are making their way back home. On a lonely road in Ohio, two such travelers are about to have the most harrowing experience of their lives.
Snow's getting heavier, Skip. I wish you'd slow down.
I hope we make it before dark. Oh, I sure don't want to get stranded in this, Joan. Oh, no.
Skip, what's the matter?
We're skidding. I can't control her.
Skip, do something. Oh, we're sliding into that boat.
I'm doing all I can.
Mystery drama, A Holiday Visit, was written especially for Radio Mystery Theater by Bob Jurin and stars Lloyd Battista and Diana Kirkwood. I'll be back shortly with Act One. What are your plans for the Christmas holidays? Entertain friends or relatives? Going home to visit parents, perhaps? This is always get-together time. A time when people go home to the families they've left behind as they've made their own way in the world. Joan Bartram made her way from a small town in Ohio to New York, where she worked for a while as a secretary, and then married Skip Bartram, an oil company executive. She hadn't been back to her home in Ohio in 12 years, so it was a particular thrill for Joan when Skip came home one night and said,
How'd you like to go home for the holidays? See your folks.
Oh, Skip, I'd love it. But can we afford it?
Well, the company's sending me to Toledo for a new training program right after the holidays, so the trip is on them.
Oh.
We'll just leave a little early and be with your folks for Christmas.
Oh, what a surprise. I'm going to call Mother this minute.
You don't want to just drop in on them and make it a surprise?
And have them fade away? No. I want to give them something to look forward to.
Well, maybe you're right.
It's been 12 years since I've been home, and you've never...
Hello?
Hello, Mother?
Oh, Joan.
How are you?
Just fine, dear.
Mother, are you sitting down?
No. Why?
Listen, Mother, get Dad over to the phone. I want him to hear my news.
Henry, come here. Joan, are you pregnant?
Oh,
Oh, no, Mother.
All right, dear. Your father's listening.
I'm coming home for Christmas.
Coming home?
Yes. Yes, Skip has to be in Toledo after the holidays, so we're leaving early, in time to be with you for Christmas.
That's the best news I've had all day. Joan, Your mother's doing her thing. She's starting to cry.
Yes, so am I. I have to hang up now. I'll let you know when we'll arrive.
Okay, darling. We'll be waiting.
When can we leave?
Well, I'd like to get away by Saturday. We'll have to drive. I'll need the car in Toledo. Let's see, we ought to get to Runyonville by, the 23rd. The map shows the end of the interstate. What do we do when we turn off?
Let's see. We go north on 84, it looks like. Yes, north on 84 to Hamilton, then 42A to Blue Mountain, and we keep on that to Runyonville.
Oh, I don't know. It looks as though the interstate keeps on going. Well, look there.
Yeah. According to the map, though, there's a proposed extension.
Well, it's been finished since the map came out, I guess. What if we stayed on this?
Oh, we'd go straight to Runyonville. It looks as though we'd save about 20 miles, too.
So we're in luck. We'll stay on it. It looks as though, well, we may be at your folks a lot sooner than we thought.
Oh, it's starting to snow. Oh, we're going to have a white Christmas.
Well, I hope it doesn't get too thick before we hit your folks' place.
Hey, Skip, how far have we come on this highway?
Oh, about 40 miles.
Have you noticed anything strange?
You're thinking the same thing I am.
There hasn't been a sign or a turnoff since we got on this road.
Yeah, I noticed that. And come to think of it, I don't remember seeing any cars passing us in either direction.
Doesn't seem natural.
Well, if this road's going anywhere, they're keeping it a secret.
I'm getting a little uneasy. Maybe we ought to turn back and take Route 84 like we planned.
Oh, I hate to do that after we've come this far. Now, this road's got to come out someplace. Let's see, we got about an hour before dark.
And the snow is getting heavier. I wish you'd slow down.
I hope we make it before dark. I don't want to get stranded in this. Oh,
Skip, what's the matter?
We're skidding. I can't control it.
Oh, yeah, Skip, do something. We're sliding.
I'm doing all I can.
You put any more tinsel on the tree, Harriet, and it's going to topple over.
I don't see how you can sit there so relaxed.
Why are you so nervous? The children said they'd be here sometime today or tomorrow.
They should have been here by now.
Only because you think they should be. If anything was wrong, they'd call. You know that.
Oh, you're right. I'm just so excited about having our Joan home for Christmas. I can't relax.
Well, I think I'll take a stroll in the snow. Need anything from downtown?
No, dear. I've had everything in for days. I just wish they'd get here.
They will, Harriet. They will. Now, you stop worrying. Worrying isn't going to get them here any sooner.
Oh, my head. Joan, are you all right?
Well, what happened?
Okay, can you straighten up?
Oh, my leg's caught.
Oh, here, let me see. Try twisting it a little bit this way. Oh, there. There, it's free. How do you feel, hon?
Dizzy.
Oh, we crashed into the boulders.
Can we... will the car move?
Oh, pray.
Thank heaven.
Oh, if I can back her off. Yep, I better get out and take a look. That does it.
What's the matter?
2 flat tires.
Oh, no.
And only one spare, naturally.
Oh, dear Lord, what are we going to do? We're miles from anywhere.
At least the snow's letting up a bit.
Oh, we can't just sit here on this ghost road.
Well, where will we walk?
Hey, Skip, look. A light.
Oh, yeah. Oh, about half a mile away, I'd say.
It must be a town.
Hey, do you think you can make it on that leg?
Oh, yes. I'd hop on one foot to get out of here.
Well, we can phone your folks. Tell them we'll be a little delayed. We can probably get the car towed in. Well, it looks like we'll have to stay till morning.
Or maybe Dad can come pick us up. We can't be far from Runyonville. We can pick up the car tomorrow or the next day.
Oh, that's Christmas Day.
Oh, that's right.
Hey, what are we sitting here chatting for? Come on, let's move.
On the street at all.
Oh, the storm must have sent them all home, I guess.
Well, let's try that grocery store. They're sure to have a phone.
Well, they can tell us where to find a garage, too. At least we can get the car off the road for the night.
It's so still.
Hello? Anybody here?
It's so dim. One bare bulb.
Well, pretty skimpy merchandise, too.
Hello?
Wow. Whew, place seems deserted.
Yeah. I don't see any payphone. Or any phone, for that matter.
Hello? Anybody here? Oh, well, we'll go someplace else. There's got to be a restaurant or a tavern in this town. Hey, come on.
Oh, I know this isn't Runyonville.
Oh, I hope not. Looks like a quaint little place, but awfully deserted. Boy, they must pull the sidewalks in at 5 in the afternoon.
Oh, the sky's cleared. Oh, look at those stars.
Wow, I haven't seen them that bright in a long time.
There don't seem to be many stores. Mostly houses.
Well, we're not on the main drag. Maybe we better go ask directions at that house there. No sense wandering around a strange town.
Yeah, I guess we should. I'm sure they'll let us use their phone. I'll call Dad collect.
Hey, listen. Hear that?
Singing. Of course, it's a carol concert. That's where everyone must be.
Well, come on, let's see if we can find them. I give up. I don't know where that music's coming from.
We've covered so many streets and nothing.
Yeah, no one. Oh, hey, honey, you're shivering.
I'm scared.
Well, there's a hotel across the street. Let's go there and use the phone. There's got to be one there.
This is a ghost town. Well, there's no use wandering about anymore. It's a ghost town in the middle of Ohio.
I wonder. You know, you might be right. It could be one of those restorations. An antique village, and if it is one, then there's got to be somebody around. A caretaker or a watchman or someone.
Oh, yeah, let's try the hotel.
Well, I was wrong, I guess. The hotel is just as deserted as everything else.
And still no phone.
Oh, I wish I had that CB radio Paul offered me. I always thought they were a nuisance, but that sure would have gotten us out of this mess. Hey, come on. Let's look around upstairs.
Every room's empty. Not a stick of furniture anywhere.
Yeah, it's about what I expected.
What was that?
Well, it sounded like something hitting the roof.
Oh, Skip, let's go back to the car. I'm too frightened to stay here. This place is just too spooky.
Come on, you don't believe in ghosts.
It's not ghosts I'm afraid of.
There's another one. Well, something sailed past the window and landed on the ground. I'm going down and take a look around.
I'll come with you. I'm not staying in here alone. Can you see anything?
Not yet. There's nothing out here except a couple of green logs. Over there, see them?
Green logs?
Yeah. Moss covered. Looks like they've been laying there for years.
But, Skip, there's no snow on them. If they'd been laying there for years, they'd be covered with snow.
You think that's what hit the hotel? Well, I mean, logs this big don't just fall out of the sky.
Look, just take me back to the car.
Now, honey, there's no sense getting panicky. We're alone in this town or amusement park or whatever it is, and at least there's shelter. We'll stay here for the night, and we'll just try to get to civilization in the morning.
You want to stay here? We might be murdered in our sleep. As if I could sleep.
Well, dear heart, there's nothing else we can do. I mean, sleeping in the car is foolish when we're... Uh-oh.
The lights. Every light went out.
Well, that settles it. We're not going anywhere now.
But the whole town's out. There's not a light anywhere.
Yeah. It seems to be clouded over, too. See, the stars are gone. Come on, let's go back inside. We'll be safe in there. We'll curl up in the lobby furniture and try to sleep.
I won't shut an eye, wondering who or what turned off those lights.
Paraphrase a popular joke. Where were Skip and Joan when the lights went out? Not only in the dark, but in a strange Midwestern village. And just 2 days before Christmas, a time when they should have been enjoying the warmth of a friendly fireside, the pleasure of holiday decorations, the music of a Christmas carol, things that most of us are enjoying these days. But for them, isolation in a cold and darkened hotel. We'll learn what this curious town holds in store for them when I return shortly with Act 2. Joan and Skip Bartram face the prospect of spending the night in a deserted hotel in a strange and darkened town. A town apparently without inhabitants. Could it be a restoration of some kind? A sort of Midwestern Williamsburg? Under normal circumstances, it might be a lovely place to spend the Christmas holiday. But Skip and Joan are anxious to get to her parents' home and friendly family warmth. They spent the night in the sparsely furnished lobby of the hotel. And now it's morning.
Skip. Skip.
Huh?
Wake up, honey.
Oh.
It's daylight.
Oh, my aching back. Oh, that's the hardest couch in the world.
I didn't sleep all night. Come outside. I want to show you something.
Oh, no. Can't you bring it in here?
Oh, stop being silly. There are footprints in the snow, and they're not ours.
Footprints?
Yeah, look out the side window there.
Yeah, they go around the back of the hotel. Well, that means somebody's around here. Come on. They're small prints. It must be a child or a woman.
Well, they lead toward that barn. It's funny, I didn't hear or see anyone. I was awake all night.
Well, there aren't any prints leading away from the barn. So whoever made them is still in there.
It's so quiet. Not a sign of life anywhere.
Well, let's go in. It's not like a private house. Anybody here?
Oh, it's so dark and dingy, Skip. Skip, let's go back out. I don't like this.
Well, somebody's got to be here. I mean, the footsteps stopped at the door.
Then why won't they answer us?
Hey, listen. Well, that was somebody's up in the loft.
They're coming down those stairs. Who's down there?
Oh, good morning, ma'am. We're looking for someone to help us.
Mercy. Where did you come from?
Well, we had an accident with our car last night. We skidded into an embankment.
Oh, my word.
We found the whole town deserted, so we spent the night in a hotel.
Oh, how curious. There aren't any beds in that hotel, you know.
We slept, or rather stayed, in the lobby.
I'm Skip Bartram, and this is my wife, Joan. We were wondering...
I'm pleased to meet you. I'm Mrs. McKinney.
Oh, we were wondering if this is some sort of restoration. I mean, there were lights on last night.
And we heard Christmas carols.
Oh, yes. Isn't the music lovely? What do you mean by a restoration? This is Taylortown.
But there's no one living here. You're the only person we've seen since last night.
Yes, they've all gone. Each season, a few more left. My husband went last year. I'm the last one here.
You live here all alone? All alone in a deserted town?
It's my home.
Could we use your phone, Mrs. McGinnis? Joan wants to call her dad to pick us up, and, well, I've got to get a tow truck for the car.
Oh, mercy me, there's no garage or tow truck. Oh, but there's a payphone at the railroad station. We never had phones in any of the houses. And just wait till I finish upstairs, and I'll show you where it is. I don't know if it works, though. I think it's just there for effect.
I wonder what she meant by that.
Well, who knows? I just feel better now that we've met another human being. She seems friendly enough.
But a little strange, don't you think?
Naturally. Living alone in a dead town.
A ghost town. I wonder how long she'll be. We could find that railroad station ourselves.
Oh, let her be hospitable. A few minutes won't matter. Mrs. McGinnis? Mrs. McGinnis, are you almost finished?
That's strange.
Well, I'll see.
Has something happened to her?
Mrs. McGinnis?
Skip, what's the matter?
Well, she's not here. The loft's absolutely empty. Well, there's no way she could have gotten out of that barn. Oh, there are no windows in that loft.
Well, she did. Unless we just imagined we saw and talked with her.
No, she was there all right. She just gave us the slip somehow.
Oh, look, there's the railroad station. Oh, pray that phone works.
Well, I'm not counting on it, but, well, it's worth a try.
But it looks like one of Belle's first payphones. Skip, have you got a dime?
Yeah, I think so. Here you are.
Well, here goes.
Well, so far, so good.
Oh, I got a dial tone.
Yeah, at least something works in this town.
Well, it's only 10 after 9. One of them's bound to be home. Ah, it's ringing.
Yeah, they're probably looking out the windows, wondering where we are.
Hello? Is somebody on this line?
Oh, Dad. Oh, Dad, thank heaven I reached you.
Who is this?
It's Joan, Dad.
Joan? I can hardly hear you. Speak up.
Dad, it's Joan. We've had an accident with the car. You have to pick us up.
Where are you? You'll have to talk louder.
A place called Taylortown. It's practically a ghost town. Do you know where it is?
Taylortown?
Look, we'll wait for you in front of the hotel. How long will it take you?
Well, it's 10 after 9 now. About 1 hour.
Oh, we'll be here. Oh, I can't wait to see you, Dad. Dad? Dad? Oh, the line's dead.
What's the matter? You look concerned.
Dad sounded so funny. I expected more of a reaction. He was so matter-of-fact. He didn't ask for details or anything.
Oh, I'm sure he figured he'd find out the details when he picks us up.
Yes, I suppose. You know, dear, I have this strange feeling I know this village. Well, not the village so much, but the houses. The houses look so familiar.
Well, a lot of small Midwestern towns have that turn-of-the-century look.
I guess so. We used to go shopping in Fairmont, and it was full of the same big houses we had in Runyonville, with porches around the whole front and little filigrees under the eaves.
Like that place on the corner.
Exactly.
And look who's on the porch.
Mrs. McInnes.
Hello there. Well, where did you come from? I don't get many visitors anymore.
We wondered where you went.
Where I went? I've been here all morning. Sweeping the snow, Got to get it off the porch before it freezes. Well, what brings you to Taylortown?
Skip, she doesn't remember us.
Mrs. McGinnis, we met you.
You know my name. Mercy, who are you?
Mrs. McGinnis, we met you at the barn this morning, and you said...
A barn, you say? Oh, there's a nice one behind the hotel. Want to come in for some hot coffee? Takes the chill off.
Yeah, thanks. We'd like that.
Well, come along in, then. I'll heat up the pot.
Skip, I don't know.
Well, what harm can it do? Look, we've got at least an hour to wait for your dad. We might as well spend it in a cozy kitchen.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Come out to the kitchen. Hot coffee in a minute with some fresh scones I made myself.
She keeps a neat house. And so, old-fashioned. It's lovely.
Yeah, pretty start.
Come in and sit down at the kitchen table. I don't have much, as you can see, but there's always something to share. You're planning on moving here, you said.
No, Mrs. McGinnis. We told you. We had an accident with our car.
Oh, that's too bad.
But I just called my father. He's coming to pick us up.
You called your father?
Yes, just now. On the phone at the railroad station.
Oh, mercy, that is a miracle. I didn't know that phone ever worked.
And we're happy to enjoy your hospitality while we're waiting.
We still can't understand why there's no one else in town. You live here all alone?
It's my home. Oh, it's not bad living alone. I get by.
Yeah, we thought it was some sort of restoration.
I don't know what a restoration is.
A restoration is an old town or house that's been restored to look the way it did years ago.
Oh, this town's looked like this from the beginning, ever since it came from Scotland.
The town came over from Scotland?
It's an exact duplicate of Taylortown in Scotland. The streets and the houses and all the furnishings came from Scotland. Oh, mercy, don't ask me how long ago.
Then you were born here.
I guess so.
You guess so?
Well, I've never been anywhere else. Oh, you're not eating the scones.
I guess we'd better get over to the hotel and wait for Dad. Thank you so much for your hospitality, Mrs. McInnes.
Oh, I'll come along. I'd like to see a modern automobile. I'll just get my shawl. I won't be a minute.
She shouldn't be living alone like this. It's made her completely confused.
Oh, I know. Well, there's nothing we can do, though.
And she kept offering us scones, and the plate was empty.
Well, she's living in the past.
I wish she'd hurry. I don't want to miss Dad.
Well, we've got lots of time. If he said an hour, well, we've only been here a few minutes.
Oh, I wonder what's keeping Mrs. McInnes. Look, why don't we just go on? She'll follow us. She knows where the hotel is.
Mrs. McInnes? You about ready? Mrs. McInnes?
Oh, not again.
Oh, talk about the Cheshire Cat.
Come on. Let's get out of here.
You want your eggs scrambled or fried this morning, Will?
Well, fried is easier.
Oh, I do hope we hear from the children soon. I'm getting awfully nervous.
I thought they'd at least arrive last night.
But not to call. It's not like Joan.
Well, that just means there's nothing wrong, Harriet. If they'd had trouble, we'd have been the first to know.
Something's not right. I just feel it.
Well, it's 10 after 9. If they're not here by noon, maybe I'll call the police.
Oh.
I'll get it. Hello? Hello?
Is it Joan?
Well, there seems to be a voice, but I can't make it out. Joan? Oh, it's a bad connection. I don't know if it's Joan or not.
Oh, dear.
Hello? 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 It's no use. Whoever it was will have to call back. We'll just have to wait.
Skip, I'm terribly frightened. I wasn't before, but now I really am. There's something evil here. I mean, no people except that crazy Mrs. McInnes?
But your dad's on the way, huh?
I wonder. It's been 2 hours now.
Well, maybe he had trouble. At least he knows where we are. Doesn't he?
How do I know? All we do is ask each other silly questions. I'm cold and I'm tired and I'm hungry.
Joan.
We may just die here. Don't you realize that? We may just die here.
Stop it. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, hon. I had to stop you.
I'll get control of myself. I'm sorry. We'll just have to wait.
Everyone seems to be waiting. Joan and Skip are waiting in Taylortown, expecting her father to pick them up any minute. But Joan's father, as we now know, didn't get the call, and he and his wife are waiting to hear from Joan. It looks as though Skip and Joan won't be with their folks for Christmas after all. Or at all, for that matter. We'll just have to wait to see how it turns out when I return shortly with Act 3. Things look now, it's not going to be a very Merry Christmas for Skip and Joan Bartram, apparently marooned in a strange little Ohio town with only one inhabitant. After encountering the elusive Mrs. McInnes for a second time, Skip and Joan have gone to the hotel to wait for Joan's father. It's a cold December afternoon, and it's been a long wait.
What time is it?
10 after 2.
I'm going to phone home again. Maybe there's a reason Dad was delayed.
And after that, I'm going to call the state police. I should have thought of it before. We're in a real emergency here. They'll tow us out. Come on.
But suppose Dad comes after we've gone.
We'll ask Mrs. McInnes to watch for him.
Mrs. McInnes? Mrs. Houdini, you mean? I wouldn't trust her to give Dad a message.
Well, we're getting out of here as fast as we can. Your father or the police, Whichever comes first. Okay. Okay, here, try your folks again.
It's dead. There's no dial tone. Nothing makes sense in this place. Oh, it's no use. It's as dead as...
Hands up! Stay right where you are!
She's got a gun!
You'd better be taking off.
Mrs. McGinnis, why the gun?
How do you know my name?
A lucky guess. Why are you pointing that gun at us?
I want you out of here now. I don't trust strangers.
Mrs. McGinnis, you were so hospitable to us before. Why are you...
Before? I've never seen you before in my life. Now get out of here. Start walking.
Where to?
To wherever you come from. I don't allow strangers here.
This is a nightmare.
You don't scare us, because I know in a couple of minutes you're going to disappear.
What are you talking about?
You've been popping up and vanishing all morning. In a few minutes you'll just disappear, poof. So we are waiting right here. Oh, come on, Joan. She means it.
But where can we go?
Back to the car.
She wouldn't really shoot us. She couldn't.
Keep going.
We're not taking chances with that crazy old woman.
But we'll freeze out here, and Dad won't find us.
You'll have to pass the car on the highway. Nothing makes any sense here.
Skip, look back. You were right. She's gone.
We'll be okay here. The motor works. I'll just turn on the heater. Come on, hop in. Oh, there's more damage than I thought. The whole front end's caved in.
What a Christmas this has turned out to be.
Oh, honey, we'll get out of this. Let me get the heater going.
We might as well get some holiday spirit if the radio still works. I'm so bushed.
Oh, you didn't sleep all night. And I didn't get much myself on that wooden couch.
I hope Dad comes soon.
Yeah. We can't keep the motor running all day.
Well, I hope Mrs. McGinnis doesn't show up again.
No, she wouldn't follow us out here.
But lock the doors anyway. Oh, I'm so sleepy.
Hey, you all right in there? Hey, you two.
Huh? Who's that?
What's the matter?
Are you two okay?
Oh, it's a state trooper.
Oh, we fell asleep. Oh, my leg.
Oh, are we glad to see you?
Anybody hurt?
No. Oh, no, we must have dozed off.
Dozed off and ran off the road. The helicopter spotted your car and called us.
Oh, thank the Lord for that.
How'd you get on this road? It's officially closed.
Well, there weren't any signs about that. It connected with Interstate 40, and we just stayed on it. Had the bad luck to skid into boulders.
This extension isn't due to open until next summer. Where are you heading?
Runyonville. My parents live there. We're going home for the holidays.
You wouldn't have gotten there on this route. It ends about 100 yards up ahead. I'll radio for a tow and get you folks to Runyonville. When did you go off the road?
Last night.
You been here all night?
Well, no, we went into Taylortown.
Taylortown?
Yeah, right up the road. But it's a ghost town except for a crazy old woman who lives there.
I better get you folks to the hospital first. Just a checkup. You know, possible concussion.
Oh, no. We're all right. My wife's ankle was twisted, but once we got out of the car, she was okay. We do not need a hospital.
You say you spent the night in a place called Taylortown?
Yes.
There is no Taylortown around here. I've lived here all my life. And there just isn't any place called Taylortown.
But right up the road. I mean, look for yourself. We were there all night.
I'm sorry, ma'am. Maybe you'd better look. Oh.
There's nothing there. There's no village at all.
No, ma'am. The road ends at that vacant field. Not a town as far as you can see. How are they, Doctor?
Well, no sign of concussion at all. No injuries except abrasions on the woman's ankle.
Yeah, well, what about their story about spending the night in a village called Taylortown?
Hard to say. Maybe they did.
They must have imagined it.
Yeah, they show no signs of exposure.
They only think they were there through the night. They may have been on the road only a couple of hours. The helicopter spotted them 2 hours ago. They went to a village named Taylortown. They were hallucinating.
Hallucinations quite common in extreme circumstances. Mirages in the desert. Anxiety can produce them.
Then you think they spent the night, like they said, in a village that isn't there?
Well, they had an emotional experience. Physically, they're fine. I see no reason to keep them here. They're better off going home to the woman's parents.
Will, they're here. A police car's driving up.
Are we glad to see you?
Oh, Mother.
We were just about to send the police out looking for you when you called from the hospital.
Oh, I'm going to send that state trooper a whopping Christmas gift. I got his name and badge number.
Skip, it's so good to see you again.
Same here.
Thank heaven you're both okay.
Come on in, everybody. No use standing here in the cold.
What happened, Dad? We thought you were coming to pick us up in that place called Taylortown.
That's what puzzles me. We never heard from you. The phone rang early this morning, but no one was there.
Oh, I know I had a bad connection, but I was sure I heard you say you'd meet us. You seemed to know where we were.
You mentioned this Taylortown. There's no place like that around here. Where exactly were you?
Oh, I've never heard of it either, but we were there.
I know the trooper thought we were loony. Oh, I don't know what to say about all this. Why don't you both just relax? I've got a buffet all ready. We'll have cocktails and you can tell us all about it.
That's a good idea. I'll get your suitcases up to the guest room.
We had to leave all our gifts in the car, but they're towing it in tonight. So we'll have them in time for Christmas.
No, they don't matter, dear. Having you here and safe is what's important. Now, you just relax and enjoy the tree while I get things ready. You must be famished.
Oh, it's so good to be home again. And at Christmas time, everything's so pretty.
Yeah. Ooh, that's some tree.
I just love the decoration. Skip. Look.
What?
Under the tree. Look, come closer.
Oh.
The little village set out under the tree. Cardboard houses. Look at the hotel.
It's Taylortown.
Mother and Dad got this set when I was a child. I'd forgotten it.
Every house. Every street is just the way it was.
The railroad station, the little store, and Mrs. McGinnis's house.
Joan, wait a minute. We weren't... We couldn't have been there.
That's what the trooper said.
What happened to us? Oh, hey, I'm getting the chills. Look at those pine needles from the tree. Those are the green logs that hit the roof.
I wonder.
What?
Mrs. McGinnis. Could she be...
I think she disappeared for the last time.
What should we tell Mother and Dad?
I don't know. I think we've said enough. I don't know what happened to us last night, but we better stop talking about it.
I guess you're right.
Here are the hors d'oeuvres. You can pour the wine, Will.
A holiday toast, everybody.
Oh, I see you're admiring the village under the tree. Oh, we haven't set it up for years.
We used to put it up regularly when Joan was a child. Lately, we've just had a table tree.
But this year, with you both coming, we went all out. Big tree, everything.
Yes, and it's lovely.
The detail in those houses is exquisite, isn't it?
Yes, very realistic.
It was imported from Scotland. It's been in my family for years. Well, here's to a wonderful holiday visit. Merry Christmas, everyone.
If there were an explanation for everything, where would the magic in life be? I think we'd all lose interest if everything were cut and dried, neatly packaged, just right. We need a bit of amazement now and then to soften the blow of reality. Skip and Joan left reality for a brief period, and it gave them something to remember all their lives. I'll be back shortly with a closing holiday thought. Holiday lights are twinkling everywhere. Every city, town, and village sports its holiday decorations. Busy shoppers push through the stores, and children wait wide-eyed for that.
In just a moment, Autolite presents Suspense with Herbert Marshall. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and in Santa Claus' sleigh, the electrical system was plenty okay. The ignition was perfect, worked like a dream, and the sleigh ran so smooth it made Santa beam.
What was Santa's secret, Otto?
I heard him exclaim as he drove out of sight, "It's no secret at all. It's just Autolite."
Now, Harlow.
You see, Hap, with all the kids in the world depending on old St. Nick Christmas Eve, he plays safe by replacing old or worn-out parts in his Autolite-equipped sleigh, with Autolite original factory parts. Resistor spark plugs, stay full batteries, distributors, starting motors, coils, generators, wire, and cable. All famous for their Autolite ignition-engineered dependability. Santa does it. Why don't you?
Harlow, let's switch from Santa to Suspense.
Suspense. Autolite and its 60,000 dealers and service stations bring you radio's outstanding theater of thrills. Starring tonight, Mr. Herbert Marshall in Anton Leader's production of John Collier's Holiday Story. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Jingle all the way. Oh, what fun. Just right. In a one-horse open sleigh. Oh, jingle bells.
Wilfred! Wilfred!
Yes, my dear.
What on earth are you doing down here in the cellar?
Why, just doing a little digging.
And why, may I ask, have you chosen this day of all days to dig up the cellar floor?
Well, I thought as the weather's been so damp, this would be a good time to plant that little devil's garden I told you about.
Devil's garden? Whatever nonsense is that?
Oh, that was my little joke about it. You see, I've managed to get hold of the spores of several unclassified wild orchids.
Oh.
In their wild state, they bloom under damp masses of leaf mold. The Araucanian Indians call them devil flowers because they appear to bloom under the ground.
Well, I'm sure the Araucanian Indians will be very interested if you succeed in growing these ridiculous flowers under the cellar floor. Whom else it will interest, I can't imagine. Ooh, what's that terrible smell?
That's the leaf mold. Chemically identical with the earth blanket they grow under in the wild state. I suppose I should line the pit with concrete so as to prevent seepage from this foreign soil, but I don't suppose there'll be much time for it now, and I do want to get these started before we close the house.
There certainly will not be time for it. Do you realize that we're sailing for America a week from today? And you've made no arrangements whatever. Unless you call digging a hole in the cellar making arrangements. I certainly don't. Devil's garden, indeed. Sometimes I think you're going soft in the head, Wilfred.
I suppose it is inconsiderate of me. You see, I've been wanting to try this experiment for a long, long time, but what with my lectures and seminars at the university, there never seemed a time.
Well, there certainly isn't any time for it now. I suppose you've forgotten I made an appointment for you at the barber's this afternoon.
Oh, no. But, must I shave off my beard, Hermione?
I thought we'd been through all that. Of course you must. They don't wear beards in America. Go get your jacket on and do as I tell you.
Yes, Hermione.
And don't forget to take your umbrella. It looks like rain.
Yes, Hermione.
Oh, don't look so put upon, Wilfred.
No,
Someone has to plan things in this house, or you'd never even get to the university in time for your lectures, much less make arrangements for a trip to America.
Oh, I know. But what about my specimens?
There'll be plenty of time to plant your precious devil's garden when we get home from America. We're not going to be gone forever, you know. We'll be back here for the holidays.
Oh, yes, of course, back for the holidays. I'd forgotten.
Well, try to remember it. And if you can't do that, just do as I tell you. I've been making the plans in this house for 20 years. And if there's any digging to be done, I'll manage that as well. You understand, Wilfred?
Yes, Hermione.
Good. You have just 20 minutes to clean up this mess down here and keep your appointment at the barber's. And when you finish there, I want you to come straight home.
Oh, I wanted to stop and pick up some books I ordered.
Well, all right. But don't loiter the whole afternoon browsing over those old books the way you usually do. Now hurry and clear up this rubbish. Get rid of that smelly stuff. And no more digging, mind you.
Yes, Hermione. Yes, Hermione. How many years has it been since I've been saying that? 10 years, 15, 20? Clear up the rubbish. Yes, Hermione. Don't forget your umbrella. Yes, Hermione. Do this, do that. Yes, Hermione. Yes. How much longer can I stand this?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Miss Markham.
Why, it is Professor Carpenter, isn't it?
Oh, you like me better this way?
Oh, you look ever so much younger without the beard. 20 years at least.
20 years.
You'll be glad to know those books you ordered have finally arrived.
Books?
Phytotomy of phalloid gametophytes and coniferous shrubs of North America. Those are the ones you ordered, aren't they?
Yes, thank you. You're very kind, Miss Markham.
Why kind, Professor Carpenter?
Not many young ladies in bookshops would go out of their way to look up rare books for an old professor of botany.
Why, you're not old, Professor Carpenter. Really, you look... And besides, I adore botany. It's my particular hobby.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You never told me that before, Miss Markham.
I was afraid to. You were so imposing with the beard and all.
Miss Markham.
Yes?
Forgive me if this sounds foolish, but I feel that shaving off my beard is the most important thing I've done for 20 years.
Oh, it is. I'm sure it is. I'm ashamed that I've been so distant with you all this time. Oh, there were times when I almost spoke up. Times when you came in here tired after a day with your students at the university. You seemed so alone, the way I'm alone in the world. I'd like to have asked you to stay a while and talk with me. But some way or other, I wound up by giving you your change and letting you go on your way.
You say you're all alone in the world?
Since my father died.
Did you never think of marrying?
My father was a very remarkable man. I never found anyone who seemed to measure up to what he led me to expect of men.
Miss Markham.
It's been so long since anyone called me by my first name. I'd like you to, if you want to. It's Marion.
Marion.
And yours?
Wilfred.
Oh, how long have you been alone, Wilfred?
Alone?
Oh, I knew you were a widower, of course, the first time I saw you.
A widower?
I can always tell. There's a certain sadness in a man's eyes, a sweet sadness, I think, when he's been married and then...
A widower. I never thought of it in quite that way.
But perhaps I shouldn't be talking like this. But I've often wondered what she must have been like. Your wife, I mean.
Hermione?
Was that her name?
Yes, Hermione. Not an easy woman to forget. Very strong, always managing things. The house, my wardrobe, my friends. When we dined at a restaurant, she even ordered my food. She was always managing things. You might say she managed herself to death.
Poor woman. She must have loved you very much. But she needn't have put herself out so. It's plain to see you don't need things managed for you.
Is that so?
You need companionship, I think. Someone sympathetic with your work. But the last thing on earth you need is a manager.
How well you put it. The last thing on earth.
Well, at last. You certainly took long enough about it. What are you looking so pleased about?
I don't know, Hermione. Getting rid of the beard, perhaps. I feel 20 years younger.
Oh, you look even smaller. Your face looks triangular or something. I'd forgotten your chin was so weak. But never mind that. You can grow it back soon enough after the holidays. Where are you going?
Down in the cellar.
Oh.
I just bought this electric lantern, and I thought I'd put it away down there.
Now, whatever possessed you to buy a thing like that?
I don't know. I rather like this lantern. Might come in handy. Who knows?
Now, Wilfred, don't start digging down there again. I've 100 things to do putting the house in order before we leave. I want you to carry these boxes upstairs for me.
Yes, Hermione.
And if you are going down to the cellar, take this along and stuff it into the furnace.
Oh, this is my old bathrobe. I may need it.
Nonsense. I bought you a new one. Get rid of it. And don't start pottering down there with that devil's garden or whatever you call it.
I'm through digging, my dear. I think the pit is quite deep enough now for my devil's garden. It would all have to be carefully planned, of course. Just as carefully planned as Hermione was planning the trip to America. We both went about our arrangements as the days passed. I spent all the time I could with Marion, and finally she consented. And then it was the last day, the big day. The day we were to sail for America.
Operator? Operator, are you there? I'm still waiting on that call to Salisbury. Well, put them on quickly. Hello. Is this Paul Holt and Sons? It's Mrs. Wilfred Carpenter. Did you receive my letter? Good. Now remember, we'll be back for the holidays, and I want the job done without fail. What's that? Oh, no, I'm sure he doesn't suspect anything. Send the bill to me in New York, as I instructed you, addressed in my name, of course. Oh, yes, I've already put them in the mail. You'll get them tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, here you are, Wilfred. Where have you been?
Backstairs. I dismissed the servants.
Dismissed the servants? But I've asked some friends of mine into a farewell tea. Go and tell them it's a mistake.
I'm afraid it's too late now. They've packed and gone.
You have messed things up properly. How many times have I told you to leave things to me? I make the plans around here.
Yes, Hermione.
You'll have to do better than this when I plan the trip home, or we'll never in the world be back here for the holidays.
Back here for the holidays, back here for the holidays. Must you keep saying that?
Why not? We are coming back for the holidays, aren't we?
Well, supposing I were offered a professorship in one of those wealthy American universities.
Nonsense. Americans care nothing for botany.
Luther Burbank was an American.
That's different. What have you ever done except muck around in the dirt with a lot of roots and tubers?
They asked me to lecture. That means something.
Of course they ask you to lecture. Americans will pay to hear any foreigner deliver a lecture. Once. Now, there's no use getting yourself in a state about this, Wilfred. No doubt this extra money will come in very handy when we arrive back for the
holidays.
Precisely. And it's no good you're making a joke of it. Heaven knows where you'd be today if I hadn't got a sense of time.
Yes, my dear Hermione.
And as you've been so foolish as to dismiss the servants, you may empty the ashtrays and straighten up this room while we're waiting for the guests to arrive. I'm going upstairs to change. Call me when they get here.
Yes, Hermione. Marion, it's Wilfred. No, my darling, nothing's wrong. My plans are the same, and bless you've changed. No. We'll meet in New York and be married there. I'll explain why later. You'll have to trust me. Yes, my darling.
Wilfred?
Sorry, I can't talk any longer. Yes, I'll meet you in New York without fail. Until then, my darling.
Wilfred? Were you talking on the phone just now?
Yes, Hermione.
Whoever was it?
Freddie. Freddie Sinclair.
Didn't I hear you say something about meeting somebody in New York?
Oh, yes. He was, old Freddie said he might possibly get over there before we leave. I said, of course, we'd meet him there if he did decide to go.
Seems very peculiar. But then all of your friends are peculiar.
Yes, Hermione.
And just look at your jacket. Have you been digging in that cellar again?
Yes, Hermione.
Well, there's no need for it. You can't possibly get that devil's garden thing finished. Go and change your clothes before the guests arrive.
Yes,
Oh, never mind. I see somebody coming up the walk now. Go and let them in.
Yes, Hermione.
Wilfred,
Yes, my dear.
look out the window. There's Professor and Mrs. Goodenough, but who's that with them?
Huh? Why, it's...
Precisely. Freddie Sinclair. Peculiar you should have been talking to him on the phone not 3 minutes ago, and now here he is.
Yes, isn't it? But then, as you say, Hermione, all my friends are peculiar.
Not half so peculiar as you. Digging in the cellar an hour before we leave for America. Just look at yourself. And now that I think of it...
Yes, Hermione?
Oh, never mind. Go and let them in.
No, you were going to ask me something. Of the hole I'm digging in the cellar.
Oh, good heavens, stop rolling your eyes about that way. One would think you were digging a grave down there instead of a storage bin.
Yes, Hermione.
What's that?
I said yes, Hermione.
Oh, bother, open the door and stop saying yes, Hermione.
I think, my dear, I've said it for the last time.
For Suspense, Autolite is bringing you Mr. Herbert Marshall in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Well, Hap, what kind of presents are you giving your car this Christmas?
My car? Now be sensible, Harlow.
I am being sensible, Hap, because the most sensible thing every car owner can do is treat his car to Autolite preventive service and Autolite factory parts now. Right now, like Santa does. For with an Autolite checkup now, your car won't let you down later.
Here we go.
Look, Hap, Autolite parts are original factory parts on many makes of our finest cars. The same as those put in the car the day it was made. Resistor spark plugs, stay full batteries, generators, distributors, starting motors, coils, wire, and cable. Your car uses them all. Autolite makes them all. You know, Autolite parts and your Autolite-equipped car go together, like Damon and Pythias, like Duncan and Fife, like Chip and Dale. What's one without the other?
Chip and Dale.
So don't accept parts that are supposed to be as good. Get Autolite parts, for Autolite parts are built for your car, Santa's car, everybody's car.
Harlow, you're wonderful. Why, you've got Santa and everybody switching to Autolite.
So, friends, follow the footsteps of Dasher, Dancer, Dunder, and Blitzen, and whip on down to your nearest Autolite service station or the dealer who sells your make of car, and ask for original factory parts and service.
Oh, okay, Harlow. Right now, here's Suspense.
And now, Autolite brings back to our Hollywood soundstage Mr. Herbert Marshall, starring in a gripping tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Back for the holidays. Hermione was so positive we would be back for the holidays. That last afternoon, pouring tea for a few friends who had come in to say last-minute farewells, she kept reiterating it.
Now, mind you, Hermione, don't let those Americans lure your husband with one of their fat university jobs. We absolutely must have you with us for the holidays.
He will be back, I promise you.
It's not absolutely certain, of course.
Wilfred, what do you mean it's not certain? Of course it's certain.
After all, Wilfred, old boy, you've contracted to lecture for only 2 months.
That's right. But then, of course, anything may happen.
Oh, Wilfred adores being unpredictable. Now, what other man would decide the very day, mind you, before leaving for America, to dig a great hole in the floor of the cellar?
In the cellar?
Yes, he's going to put some unclassified wild orchids down there. A devil's garden, if you please.
Oh, my dear.
Sounds so mysterious.
Oh, my dear.
That's Wilfred, though. It's really quite simple once you find out what he's up to. Now, take that telephone call he put through to you a few minutes before you arrived, Freddie.
To me?
Of course. Wilfred wanted to surprise me about your plan to meet us in New York next month. Wasn't that why he called? To ask you not to mention it?
But, my dear Hermione, Wilfred couldn't possibly have telephoned me within the past hour. I've been walking in the park since 3.
He didn't telephone you?
How could he? And as for my going to America...
No, come, Freddy. You may as well own up. Hermione has found me out again.
But, Wilfred, old chap, I really don't.
You see what a poor liar Wilfred makes. He's as red as a beetroot.
Aren't you ashamed of yourself, Professor, stringing poor Hermione along like that? And as for you, Freddie, I'm furious. You said nothing to us about going to America.
But look here, old girl. I've been trying to tell everyone here
Oh,
that...
stuff and nonsense. The game's gone on long enough. Besides, we must start getting ready. It was marvelous of all of you to come in to say goodbye. And don't worry about Wilfred's little jokes. I will bring him back for the holidays. You may rely on it.
They all believed her. For years, she'd been promising me for dinner parties, garden parties, committees. And the promises had always been kept. This time they wouldn't be. I'd seen to that. The servants were gone for good, the farewells all said. I had timed to the minute how long it would take to fill in the hole in the cellar, my devil's garden. Upstairs in the bedroom, I undressed, folded my clothes over a chair, put on my old bathrobe. Then I opened the door into Hermione's room. Hermione, have you a moment to spare?
Of course, dear. I'm just finished.
Then come in here for a moment. There's something rather extraordinary here.
Oh, good heavens, Wilfred. What are you lounging about in that filthy old bathrobe for? I told you to put it into the furnace.
I'll do it today. Yes, I really will, I promise.
Well, high time. Now, what is it you want to show me?
It is in the bathroom here. Just look. Who in the world is supposed dropped a gold chain down the bathtub drain?
Nobody has, of course. Nobody wears such a thing.
Then what's it doing there?
Well, I don't see anything.
Here. I'll hold this flashlight for you. If you lean right over, you can see it shining deep down.
Such a lot of nonsense, just as we're... Well, I don't see it, Wilfred.
Go on looking, Hermione. In just a moment...
Wilfred, I absolutely refuse... Wilfred, what are you doing? Take your hands off my neck.
I will, Hermione, just as soon as I've finished the arrangements for my trip to America.
What are you talking about?
You thought you were the only one who could plan things, didn't you, Hermione? Well, I've been making some plans of my own this past week. In exactly 1 minute and 45 seconds, you'll be dead. You see, I've planned it very accurately.
You'll never get away with it.
I thought you'd say that, Hermione, but I will get away with it. You won't mind the smell of the leaf mold down in the cellar when I take you down there today. Yes, that's where you're going, Hermione. Into my devil's garden that annoyed you so much.
My friends, they all expect me back for the holidays. And if I don't come back, they'll start asking questions.
No, they won't. No, because you'll write them letters, Hermione, on the typewriter, as you always do. They'll be signed H, in that neat, cryptic way you always sign your notes to your friends.
Oh, let me up now.
No.
It won't work, Wilfred. You were never any good at planning things.
But I've changed. I've learned from watching you all these years.
The lecture people in America. They'll be expecting you to travel with your wife.
I will be traveling with my wife, but not my present wife, Hermione.
What?
Fortunately, they've never met you. I'll write a few letters home for you, then fewer and fewer. I might even come back alone in a year or two and sell the place, say you died in America. Nobody will ever suspect that you're lying under the floor of this cellar in this very house.
Wilfred, it won't work, I tell you. That pit you dug in the cellar...
I can assure you, my dear Hermione, it will serve its purpose well.
Wilfred, you must...
Sorry, my dear, I've got to get this done according to plan. You have just 5 seconds to say your prayers.
Wilfred, you must listen. The cellar... Don't do it, Wilfred! Oh, Stuart.
Yes, sir?
My wife is indisposed. She'll be taking her meals in our stateroom.
For the whole voyage?
Yes, for the whole voyage.
Well, I trust your wife is feeling better this morning, Professor Carpenter.
A little, yes. Not yet well enough to leave her cabin.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, by the way, here's a copy of the radiogram you sent for your wife last evening.
Oh, thank you. I'll just check it over. But look here.
What is it? Did the typist make a mistake?
No, nothing important. She can correct it later. For a moment, I had a feeling that Hermione had been leaning over my shoulder again, correcting what I had written. She always did. I had written a radiogram to Professor Goodenough and his wife. Have not been out of cabin the whole beastly trip. Wilfred well. Doubt will be back for the holidays. The copy read, no doubt will be back for the holidays. Exactly what Hermione would have written. Well, the rest of the voyage was uneventful. And Marion and I met in New York just as I had planned. Just as I had planned. Professor and Mrs. Carpenter, we have reservations, I believe.
Oh, yes. We've been expecting you, sir. Boy.
Yes, sir.
Take Professor and Mrs. Carpenter's luggage up to their suite. You know, Mrs. Carpenter, you're quite a surprise.
Oh?
The letter reserving the rooms was so thorough. I was expecting an older, more forbidding sort of person, frankly, ma'am.
Oh, no. As a matter of fact, we are just married.
Oh?
But my letter reserving the room?
I wrote the letter, my dear, and signed it Mrs. Wilfred Carpenter, just as a joke.
What a cunning old fox you are, Wilfred.
Now that I think of it, I am rather.
Oh, I almost forgot. There's a letter for you, Mrs. Carpenter.
That's peculiar. I wonder who on earth...
Well, we'll find out in good time, darling. Come along. We're keeping the boy waiting. Nothing like a cold, brisk shower to put a man to rights.
Wilfred, this letter...
Oh, yes, the letter. Darling, dry my hair, will you?
Yes, dear. It seems to be a bill of some sort from a building contractor in Salisbury.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes. Oh, bother, dry your own hair.
Right, thank you, Miss Smith. Let's see this bill or whatever it is.
Yeah. It's very puzzling, Wilfred. You were a widower, weren't you? I mean, Hermione isn't still alive.
Oh, good heavens, no. Let's have that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Dear Madam, that's a good one. This is to acknowledge your order together with the keys to your house in Launceston Place. Our men had no difficulty in finding the place where your husband had begun the excavation in the cellar. But apparently he changed his mind at the last moment and filled it in again.
What is it, Wilfred?
Our men will begin digging tomorrow. You may rest assured that it'll be a professional job and will be completed in ample time for your surprise Christmas present to your husband. We are happy to be conspirators with you in this thoughtful gesture and hope that Professor Carpenter will be pleased at the results of our work that he so quaintly calls his Devil's Garden. Very truly yours, Paul Holt and Sons, Contractors.
Well, what does it mean, Wilfred?
It means that Hermione was right. I will be back for the holidays. Back for the holidays. Back for the holidays. Back for the holidays. Back for the holidays.
Thank you, Herbert Marshall, for a splendid performance. Mr. Marshall will return in just a moment.
Jingle bells, jingle through the snow. Your car's all hep, it's full of pep, with Autolite, you know.
Right you are. And By Cornelius electrical problems won't keep your car down when you stop at the shop that features Autolite parts and service. Sure as Kris Kringle means Christmas, Autolite original factory parts and service top the town. So, friends, stop in tomorrow at your friendly Autolite service station or the dealer who sells your make of car and ask for original factory parts and service.
Autolite? You'll find Autolite service stations listed in your classified telephone directory under Automotive Electrical Equipment. And remember, your Autolite ignition system is the lifeline of your car.
Yes, friends, and remember, too, Autolite means spark plugs.
Ignition-engineered resistor spark plug.
Autolite means batteries.
Stay full batteries.
Autolite means ignition systems.
The lifeline of your car.
And now, here again is Mr. Herbert Marshall.
It has been a pleasure to appear tonight on Suspense, and it is my pleasure to extend to all of you, for Autolite, Tony Leader and his Suspense cast and crew, and myself, best wishes for the holiday season. Next week, on radio's outstanding Theater of Thrills, you will hear William Bendix in another gripping study in
Suspense.
Herbert Marshall will soon be seen with Margaret O'Brien in the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer production of The Secret Garden. Tonight's suspense play was dramatized by Robert Tallman from a story by John Collier. Music was composed by Lucien Morawek and conducted by Lud Gluskin. The entire production was under the direction of Anton M. Leader. In the coming weeks, Suspense will present such stars as Ethel Barrymore, Dana Andrews, Robert Montgomery, Danny Kaye, and many others. So make it a point to listen each Thursday to Suspense, radio's outstanding Theater of Thrills. And next Thursday, same time, hear William Bendix.
This is the Autolite Suspense Show. While we in North America are enjoying an abundant Christmas, millions of people in Europe are still hungry. Your $10 sent to CARE, C-A-R-E, will go a long way toward putting some less fortunate European family back on the road to health, happiness, and freedom. Good night. Merry Christmas from Autolite.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.